Hi guys, welcome to another day with Zenler. So now we are streaming live to our Facebook group. So you guys have posted some questions. So I want to talk a little bit about Day with Zenler. So Day with Zenler was initially thought up to sort of give you access to us at the platform. So if you've got any questions and those sort of things. We're also running some little events inside the Day with Zenler. And each end of each month, we'll run a Day with Zenler. And it will be a different kind of topic. So last month we ran creating a site and creating a course. It's quite a lot to do with asking questions and sort of people popping in. So today, what we're going to do is I've actually put some ask people questions on if they want their site critiqued. So I have a few sites to go through and do some critiques on. We also have Howard, and he is a charisma coach. So he does presenting on screen, and he's going to be on at 10:30 for about half an hour to 3/4 of an hour. So you'll be able to ask your questions straight into the chat, and he can pick those up after he's done his presentation. Okay, so that's how we kind of lay it out. Now I've got some new things to talk about today as well, because I'm going to talk a little bit about the education. So I've actually, rather than go through the whole education process, I'm going to quickly zoom over where you guys need to go if you're new to the platform. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and I'm just going to show you our kind of education area. And I'm also going to show you a new thing that we've done for onboarding. And this is a funnel that we send new people into the platform. So if you haven't seen it yet, it might be good to go on there. And I'll put the URL into the chat as well. So let me share my screen first of all and go to our first primary hub for training. This is tutorials.newzenler.com. Okay. And if we go in there, I'm just going to paste that into the chat there. Okay, so this is our main resource. So it shows all our live events going on. And we also have our Masterclass Bundle. So this is the bundle that you want to join up for if you're new to the platform. And when you join it, you want to go into the quick start guide, and then you will also download the basic setup checklist. This will give you a foundation of using the platform itself, after which you can cherry pick the subjects that you want to know more about using the complete guide to Zenler, which is a huge course. We also have secondary courses in there as well, such as these. So we have copying sites from WordPress sites, hardware and software setups, special coding courses, all the live workshops I run on Sundays. And we also have branding and design. Now we're also going to have a marketing course as well, not in this thing, it's going to be in its own separate bundle, and it's going to be covering marketing. So we realize there's a real importance. We can give you all the tools to use the platform, but of course, if you can't get it out there to people and market it, then it's a big stumbling block, and the biggest stumbling block. So we decided at Zenler to put together a basic marketing course. So if you follow these standard practices for SEOing your pages up, getting them onto Google, maintaining your social media channels, then, and you consistently work at it, you will get results. Now we're adding to these marketing courses as well. Kevin, another lead product educator here at Zenler, he is actually running a Google Ads campaign, showing you how to set up Google ad campaigns. And we'd like to do Facebook one as well at some point. So we're not just looking at the platform, we're looking at when you've created your site and course memberships, you can also get it out there to your audience to create sales, which is really, really important. Okay, so good. So you've seen that. So what I do now is I'm going to put a link into the chat, and this is our new onboarding sequence. So it basically takes you through what Zenler is about, and then you can click through and you go to where the education is. So it shows you all the education areas as you work through, and what courses you should go. And also it tells you where our Facebook community is, tells you a little bit about that. And then you go to stay in the loop with our YouTube channel, which we have a YouTube channel that has all the latest new releases and those sort of things. And then we go on to Zenler Tech Support. These are for bug problems with the platform or problems you're having with the platform that you don't want to post on the Facebook group, more general questions, gives you the link there. And then we just follow to the last part of the onboarder. So I can see Johan's here. Hi, Johan. Good to see you. I'll just put that link in the chat there so you can see that onboarding if you're new to the platform. Yeah. So, yeah, Johan, we will be making some major change to the page builder. It's a very big change. We're calling it Page Builder 2.0. And there's going to be lots of things off of the back of this as well. The page builder we've got at the moment, although very good, I'll be demoing that a little bit with some of the lessons, but there are lots of code and things that we don't need to put in there. So we're streamlining the whole thing, making it better. And then we can back end things like templates and blocks that you're going to be able to put straight into the page. So it's a major update. That's why we've talked about it for a while, but we're making sure everything works. Obviously, we don't want to release something and find that there's bugs in there that's causing problems with existing sites. We have to be very, very careful, hence our very careful schedule of releasing things and not giving you an ETA. We cannot give an ETA on these things. One, it puts our developers under pressure. And two, we need to test our end, okay, to make sure it all works. So that's why we're doing that. Hi, Chris. Good evening. Oh, good evening. Good morning here. It's 9 o'clock. If you want to put out where you're from, that's a good one. So we can see where you're from. So Chris, I've got to do a critique on Chris's site. He's put that into the event. So I'm going to do that. I also, just before we carry on, I want to introduce Alice Miriam. She's a new member of the product education team here at Zenler. And she is from Florida. So we're hitting that sort of time zone. And she's going to be running lots and lots of things. So she's going to be running her own one-to-ones and onboarding sequences. So we're really excited. Probably initially I or Kevin will be with her, sort of helping her with any questions that come in that maybe she doesn't know about. So we'll be working together, and then she'll be flying, and she's got a ton of experience. So it's going to be really good to pick her brains as far as marketing is concerned, because I think she's got 30 years of experience with corporate, non-profit and social media marketing. So she is a gold mine for us at Zenler. So we're really, really happy to welcome Miriam to the team for sure. Oh, we got England. Oh, Carrie's in England, 9 o'clock. UK, got Finland. Oh, brilliant. Okay, not too much of a time difference. And Chris, I think Chris is in America, I think. So yeah, good stuff. Right, let me just stop the share, and I'm going to flick up the critiques. So 10:30, we've got Howard coming on. He's going to do a presentation on presenting yourself on camera. And funny enough, I'm also taking a course with him. So I'm taking a course to make myself better on camera, although I've got oh god, decades and decades of experience of being on camera and things like that. There's still things you can improve about yourself. You know, there's always things you can improve about yourself. My biggest one was ums and ahs, and I've cut those down. I still do it occasionally, especially if I'm thinking about other things. Very hard when you do lives, because you're on, you know, you're not following a syllabus. You can't edit things out. You can't redo it. So actually doing things live, you've got to really think about it. So some really great tips coming from him. I don't know what he's going to talk about today, because he was also in the marketing course and he did a live in there and he showed tips, but he said he's going to do something completely different. So, well, I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see what he does. So I'm going to jump to my thing here. And I'm going to just check out Chris's site. I'm going to take it very slow and steady today, because we've got a lot of hours to do. So I have to be quite careful of my voice. So I think Howard's put a post in there talking a little bit about himself. Right, so I've got 3 sites to do today. I've got Chris, I've got Rennie, I've got Shia, Patrick, and I've got Tracy Browning. Tracy is one of our regulars. She might be on. Is Tracy here? She's usually here. She's not here today. But I'm going to start with Chris because he put his one in first. So let me just open this up. And I had a look at these sites. Some of them are, well, they're all good, you know. They're all good. They all work. They all look really nice. Just little things you might want to think about. So we're going to start with Chris, as Chris is here. And guys, you know, the David Zenler is a case that you can jump in and out. You know, you don't feel that you're obliged to stay here all day. Questions drop down and, you know, you can go away for a bit. We're here from 9 till 12, so on 3 hours now, and we'll be back on 3 hours from 3 o'clock till 6 o'clock. Okay, in the afternoon session, we've got Rakesh in there. Rakesh often jumps into the lives and or helps with the chat. So here is Chris's site. So I was looking at it, and it all looks good. I was thinking of one thing up the top here, this menu area. It's really hard to see, you know, home, because you've got this mustard yellow and then you've got this text over the top. There's a very, very light font. So you might want to do 2 things here. You might want to change that to a white text for the font, for the menu area, and maybe make it bold just so it pops out a bit. You might also want to give it a little bit more spacing. Now, I realize that because you're using the dynamic header here, Chris, and if you want to pop things into the chat, feel free. I'll look at it. Because you're using the dynamic header, there are certain things like your logo size is a set size. But if you go into our Ninja Tricks course here, yeah, it is coding, but it's very simple coding. And we can change the logo size and make things a bit better. So I'm going to start with this header area first, just to sort of have a look and see what's going on. So generally, I'm going to do some sort of live edits on here. So if you see things changing, it's not happening on your site, don't worry. I'm just doing it in here. So you might want to go and change your logo size, make it a bit bigger like that. That's 150, by the way. Probably 80 might be better. And you might also want to drop the menu system down inside here as well. So I'm doing some live changes, not live, but I'm doing some changes in here. This is the fun of working live, you see. Okay, so you might want to drop this down. I also show that in the Ninja Tricks. Okay, but making this into a lighter color like a white was definitely going to help, I think, or even the hover color. Just because if I hover over this now, you know, see how that stands out now against what you've got. So if this was made a bit bolder, it's probably like an open sans or something. If you turn it into a regular instead of a light, then that will just pop it a little bit more. Okay, but the logo size, you can see that's made it bigger. And I'm not sure about that color. You could play around with that color if you want to. You know, you can just play around and see how it looks in different colors. But obviously, because of that light text, it's going to look better in a lighter color. If you notice you've got a border around your logo, so if I make it like that, you can still see that little white border going around the outside of the logo. So I think that's definitely one thing you could look at. Tara, yeah, how do you increase the logo size? You just need to look in the NZ Masterclass Bundle, go into the Ninja Tricks course. Okay, now in Page Builder 2.0, I've already asked for this to be a function to be able to make logo sizes bigger. So hopefully that will be implemented in there. But for now, the hack around that is just to change that logo size using CSS. And it's all very easily explained inside the tutorial. No one's had any problems with it. And I don't go into real in-depth code, you know, not real codey code stuff. So don't worry about it too much. It's pretty straightforward stuff I'm covering in there. I'm not going mad with any of this stuff. So carrying on with Chris's, I noticed I really like it. You know, I really love your course cards you've got up there. And I like it that you've got a nice picture of you in there as well. It looks really cool. Let me just change that off. Okay, hold on. Okay. Yeah, these look really good. Really like them. It's all nice. The font's nice and clear. Just be careful of your contrast, you know, your colors behind things, because if you've got like these gray colors and then you've got really light text, it can look a little bit lost. So be careful of that. But that these are really clear because they're all on white. Now these are good. The only thing, this is my biggest problem, Chris, with your site. This is just not lining up with anything. I'm very much like working in grid lines. So this follows down here and then it comes to here and then we go, whoa, what's going on? There's a big space. Now there might be a reason why you've done that, but it looks weird. This is centered and this is left aligned, you know, and it looks a bit odd in the page. Really easy to fix this stuff. You know, you might also want to think about changing the block color behind it. So you've got something like this block color going behind. You might want to change that for sure. Let me just go and do something here. You could change it to something like that. You know, I'm not saying you have to change it to that color exactly, but you know, you get the idea. And you can see, you can then see there's a difference between the blocks. This is something that people do quite a lot. They put tons of text, although they've got different blocks in their site, they have loads of text and each thing has a title in it. And then it just rolls on, which is fine, but it just looks like a rolling page of text. Even by putting a slight bit of color around that particular area of interest, can break it up from the rest. And even though you've got the same text on there, the same quantity of text on there, it can make it easier to read because you're reading it in chunks as opposed to scrolling. What you'll find a lot of people do with just tons of text on a white page with titles, then what it is, and then title, what it is. What you'll see people do is they'll scroll through the page like this. And they won't even read it. They'll just look at the title, and then move on. And then they'll just jump away. So you can raise a little bit more interest by actually keeping something on there. And I've also noticed that you've got no animation in here either. It's always nice to put a little bit of animation, not too much, just a little bit in there to get things kind of moving. If I go to the SurfDude site, I'm just going to stop the share because I've got to log in. I'll jump back in a second and then I can just demonstrate to you. All right, good. Right, let me jump back to the share. Right, so this is a site that I've just sort of put together. And if I refresh it now, what you're going to see is this is what happens. You get that little bit of interest. So see how these are coming up as you go through them? It's not over the top. You're just getting this little bit of movement that can really sort of target you towards those sections. I normally only put it on one part. You can animate the whole block. Okay, I just put it on one part. So how do you do that? So let me just show you quickly. I'm just going to jump into my admin area so I can quickly show you. All right, here's a page that I did just as a test page. So I'm just loading that up and I will share again. All right, guys. Okay, so I just got this little test page. So to animate things, you can click on here, hit this little gear icon, come over to the settings, and in animation, you've got all these different things. Now, if I just click one, if I just do, this is one I like a lot, the flip X in. So it does this, just turns in. And you can see that. So it gives you a little, you've got a flash there, gives you a little preview of what's going on. And you can also set the delay. So you can delay it on the page. Someone gets there, they land on your page, you can delay that animation from starting under a set amount of seconds that you type in here. You can also set it to interval. So if you want it to flash or behave or animate after a certain amount of time, then you can. So I put 2 seconds. So it buzzes up at 2 seconds, and then it will wait 2 seconds and it will buzz up again. So it will repeat the animation. If you don't have it on there, then it will just do it once. So every time you lose it from the page and go back, it will do it once, like you saw on my site there. So that's how you can do it. Now you can also animate. Remember, guys, you can also go in here and you can animate whole blocks. Like whole blocks can be animated. So you can have an animation on the actual block itself and an animation on the element. Might be a bit too much, but you can do that. So if I was to take this block, that's I was using this page just to show responsive behavior on our office hours. But if I take this, you're going to see the whole block will move, and it'd probably be easier to see if I do a flip like that. So you can see. So if you had color or an image in there, the whole thing would turn like that. So that can be really good to raise a little bit of interest on the page, Chris. All right. So apart from coloring those, I like this. See, you've used a bit of darkening. I'm sure that was white when I saw it last. And you might have changed it. So you might have already done it. And you've got a nice little design going on there. And it kind of mirrors the protractor that you've got inside there in a way. It's very, so yeah, apart from that, maybe the footer. I like having a dark footer at the bottom. I like sort of light at the top and then goes down to a dark, but that's personal preference. Design is a very singular thing with people. So I think that's it. It's not too much to do there. So I'm going to have a look back. Yeah, Jackie, I see you. Oh, that's good. So Chris, this is great. Thank you. I'll check out Ninja Tricks course. Well, it's good to get first impression. Yeah, I don't think it's much. Just like with all of these sites, there's not much. There's just small tinkerings, and it's really good. It's something that a lot of people might pick up, or you might pick up next time you visit the site. When I do site designs, I'll do the design. Sometimes you can get too close to it. It's probably what a lot of you have done. You're just working on it. You just spent a whole day. I've got to get this done. I've got to get this done. I've got to set the template. I've got to set the way it looks. And you just get into it and you're just like this, it's really close to you. Now, a really good idea is if you can look at the site sideways, or if you can go upside down, even better. If you've got a monitor that turns upside down, even better, because it gives you a completely different view of how it looks. The other thing that's really important is not to finish it. It's just to go away from it and to come back and look at things, but having things clearly in lines people like. Now, people break those rules, but generally when you see like Mondarian squares and things like that, everything's in gridded positions, and there's a reason why colors are in those sort of areas. Yeah. So bear that in mind as well. And that's the whole way Zenler works. Zenler works, it's all kind of bootstrapped. So when you turn it into responsive mode, it kind of everything goes down underneath. I haven't looked at this site in responsive. Little tip for you guys, if you want to see this in responsive inside Chrome, right hand click, go down to inspect. That will bring up this panel, which will be probably on the side. If I just put it here, you'll see if I turn this on here, it will make your page go into different devices. So you can look at this on a Moto 4, on an iPhone 6, and you can see how they look. it's definitely worth looking through here. As you can see, your site's really good. I could already see that from the site. And in fact, that looks better on a mobile because it's pulled it in, okay? So I might even think about making this centered on the main site, but these are all left, you see, because they've come in from the side. So try and keep things consistent. This is in the center. So you've got center, left, a bit of both, etc., etc. So you see how that is. So that was a little tip just for you guys to know, is you can open up that inspector and you can turn it on and off to look at it. You can also do that in the site itself. You know, you've seen that in the site. You can go and look at things in responsive. So if I pick one of these up and I go to hide on what am I doing there? You can go and check them out in there as well. But I must admit, I don't really ever use it in here. I always use the inspector on Chrome, personally. All right, good. Right, Chris, you said that have a look at one of your sales pages. All right, I'm going to have a quick look. We've got time. We haven't got too many sites to do, so I've got time to spend on these. It's absolutely that's what David Zenler is all about. So let's have a look at the sales page. You've probably got the same. Oh, right. Okay. Oh, right. Okay. Right. Keep the fonts the same. You've got different font. Yeah, there's some times when you can get away with this, but generally, I would keep them all the same. It's what is the biggest mistake that beginners make, or people that don't do any design do. They mix and match too many fonts and sizes. They'll have like heading font that big, and then they'll have on the next page they have a heading font that big, and then it'll be that big, and then it'll be that big. Really good idea. Have a notepad. Put your sizes that you've got for your fonts in that notepad. Any colors that you're using throughout the site, put those down, yeah, and stick to them and keep the font itself so you've got it, because later on, especially if you're creating articles and things like that, external stuff, you're doing PDFs, downloads, PowerPoint presentations, any of these things, you're going to want to make sure you're using the same font, same colors that you're using for the branding, so that your branding doesn't get mashed up, doesn't get diluted. Okay, you want to keep it all very clear. If you want to go for this golden color and this blue, which look really good together, make sure that you're using that throughout all your literature. Yeah. So your sales page, yeah, you've done the same thing here. You've got a little, you've put that into probably 3 columns. Yeah, you have. So you got it three column, 1 row. So make that 1 row and it'll jog it across to the side. Just, by the way, in the rows, you can go into the row, into the green, right-hand click and delete column while you're over this, and it will delete it and push it there, and you can do the same that side. So that'd be a quick way for you to do that. So it is all very much, like your site is design, isn't it? So it looks good. Lots of design. Let me just share the screen there. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about. So here, and this font that you've got here. So this is Chris's sales page. And it's just, yes, very small things, I like this. I really like this. Looks really good. See how that text stands out? Really clear. Nice picture there. This is good. This is just a little bit of information. Doesn't matter that it's you can still see what it says. This is good. Yeah, this is another thing that people do as well. They'll mix and match their buttons. So some pages they'll have square buttons, and other pages they'll have rounded buttons. So make a choice and try and stick to it. You've got the outline rounded, but try and stick to it. Try and stick to the same size of the fonts inside the buttons as well. So consistency, we're looking for consistency here throughout the site. So if you've got a notepad, you can write all these things down. You know, it takes 2 seconds. And then when you get to a new page, you'll instantly know what you've got to do. Oh, that needs to go in that size. Oh, I need to do the button there. There needs to be that much spacing around the button. You've got it all laid out. You literally just follow it through. It makes life so much easier rather than, oh, I'll move it a little bit that way. I'll move it a little bit this way. And then it doesn't match the other page. Or I go for a square button on this page. So again, we've got that happening there. So either go centered with this or justify it left. Make sure that you do that as well across with it. So yeah, that looks good. That's a different font style to this. Keep it the same. I like this background. I like this color. I'd stick with this if you can and put it under there, because everything's got nice little patterns going on underneath it. And this one hasn't. And then there's a blue, which goes well with the other colors. I can see that you do design. It goes with your logo up there, but you could easily go and take something there, use the same background and then put an overlay of that blue. And it'll give you the same kind of thing. It'll all fit together. So really with you, Chris, it's a consistency thing. Apart from those justifying things on lines, it's really just keeping things consistent throughout the site. So just double check your sizes on here, maybe match it more to this, and it will be cool. That's good. Yeah, you got loads of things there, a little bit of thing, top rated, brilliant. You got review already. Fantastic, Chris. Yeah, Chris, I mean, it's just a matter of going through things. By the way, a little tip, if you wanted to force size on certain headings, you could do that via CSS. So if I put, for instance, if this was here, was an H1 heading, and then another heading that you had up here was also an H1, you could actually force it with CSS to stick to the same size. Check the ninja tricks course out, or write it down and just make sure you're putting it in there and matching the sizes up. Okay, when the new page builder comes out 2.0, it won't affect what you've done, by the way, so it's all good. All right. Yeah, Johan, sorry about that. I didn't share my screen, so hopefully you can see it now and you can see what I've done. All right, I'm going to jump into the next one. I think we've got Rennie coming up. I don't think she's with us. Is she with us? She's with us? No, she's not here. Okay, so Rennie's site, again, you know, I think like with most of these sites, it's kind of a consistency issue. So let me just share my screen. Yeah, give me a shout out if I forget to share my screen, because I'm going to be cutting across quite a lot. Okay, so we've got Rennie here. Renee. Going to jump into this one. Right. Okay, yeah, I saw this. I can see what you're trying to do, Renee, but this image is awful. If it was sharp, then it might be good. But remember, you're a business owner and entrepreneur. It's always a hard one for me to say in the morning. And a coach. Your picture should be very, very professional. You know, people are going to look at this and they're going to know that it's not a professional. You might be fantastic at what you do, but you're going to look at that and give the wrong impression straight away. You need to change this out. Get rid of it. Get rid of it as soon as you can. Reshoot it. Get a professional photographer, or if you're good at photography or you've got a friend that can take really good photos. I would ditch the wine glass there as well. Okay. Remember, we're business. You're trying to aim to business owners. So you need to be really on the ball. Look at Amy Porterhouse's site. Really classic case, all crystal sharp. Yeah, I know a lot of people have problems with pixelated images or blurred images, which is this is. It just means that your image is really small and you've made it really big, so it's blurred, okay? Because images are made up of pixels, little dots of color. And if they're blown up, then they blur. If they're reduced down, it's better. Obviously, you don't want to do it too big because you're loading a big image, but Zenler does optimize the images. So try and reduce it down. Check out not the ninja tricks. Check out Ethically Copy a Site. Look at the Amy Porterfield replica site that I did in there, and you'll see how it's done from there. But you need to have a good photography. And I'd say this for everybody, any stuff that you're putting in that you're getting photographed, don't just go and photograph it on, you know, a really low resolution camera or phone. You know, make sure your lighting is really good. I know it's expensive to get professional photographers to do stuff for you, but you can do a lot of stuff yourself. You can Google online, like, how do I shoot a really good looking thing on my iPhone or my Android or whatever, and it will tell you and get good results even with phones. Personally, I always use a digital SLR because it's crystal sharp, you know, and then I can reduce it down and I edit it, and I also retouch it as well. But I realize that's out of the realms of what a lot of you guys can do at the moment. You might move on to that, but this was a big, I mean, it's your first image you're seeing. It's such a big thing, you know. Just while I'm on it, I know a few people have put their sites into the chat. Ambika, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I will try and get to them. It's in an order, so I'm looking through. When I run out of the post, because I put this post up over a week ago, people put their thing down. So Chris put it on there, Renee put it on there, Shia put it on there. So I just got to work through those as they've come in first. No one jumps the queue, and then I'll look at the chat and I'll work through any critiques there. So this is the first part of the critique. And we've got Howard coming along, and after Howard, I'll continue with the critiques. And if I've finished all the critiques on the site, because I'll carry it on even into the afternoon session, then I'm going to show you some extra things. So in the afternoon session, also, guys, I'm showing you how to do some special effects in Camtasia. So you guys that are using Camtasia, and a lot of you do for your video editing, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks in using Camtasia. So that's another exciting slot to come. So this was my biggest problem with this page. You've put everything center aligned on here, which will look good. I'm not sure how this looks on a mobile, so I'm just going to investigate that now. Just this image, I'm presuming it's going to be bad. Yeah, look, it's disappeared. So what you've done there, you have actually taken this wall background, you've taken a picture of yourself, cut yourself out, and you've stuck yourself on the wall. And then you've put it into this block. And because it's a small picture, it's pixelated it. Notice how the background is sharper, the wall, because it's white. And this has been put on and it's just stretched it. The other problem is because you've used it as a background image and probably used a column here to take up 50% of this space so that your head appears there, is that when you reduce it down, it will crop in because it's a background image. So what you needed to do is actually have the wall as one image and then create two columns, one row, two columns. Put an image of yourself as a PNG, that's a transparent cutout of yourself, put it in there, and then have the thing in there. And then when you go into responsive mode, it will drop down. So your image will still be on there. I cover that in Amy Porterfield's site, so you can see it in there. So it's not going to take you long to do that. The longest part will be getting someone to, you know, getting a good photograph and actually getting a photograph. But actually to do this will probably inside Zenler will take less than 3 minutes, you know. So it's not a big problem. It's just something to definitely look out for. All in your best interest, of course. Everything I say, I'm critiquing, and I might sound harsh, but sometimes you've got to be harsh to get you to up your gear and get a better result. So the rest of it, I can see what you've done here. It's all good, you know, it's all centered. I would say you probably have got this different font size thing going on, which a lot of people have. You are kind of sticking to that font. This is a different font for here, and then it's italicized. This is, well, it's all good down there. That's good. Again, exactly the same as Chris, and I think this is going to be a continuing theme. Blocks, value and bonuses. Make it different, you know. My coaches, make it different. And those sort of things. And these are your coaches. I might put them down the bottom more. You want to talk about yourself. It leads me, like looking at this page now, Renee, I might be completely wrong, but looking at the page, it leads me to have an opinion that you're still being learned because you've got your coaches on there. Now, this might not be the case at all, but that's what it gives me. Almost looking at the site makes me feel that you're unconfident about it. One, because of this image up the top here, and then you're featuring the people that have taught you up here, which is a good thing to do, but I'd probably drop them right down the bottom and talk about yourself. It's about you. You're selling yourself, and that's what people will buy into for sure. So this is really good. I really love this down here. I think you've done a really good job with this, with the slide going on. Again, watch that font. It's different font. So different font size. This is nice as well. You've got the membership. It'd be nice if that echoed across here. This isn't centered. This is centered. This isn't centered. That looks like it's a different size to that. I might be wrong, but I think that's, yeah, that's smaller than that. So that's an inconsistency. Yeah, these are almost what you're teaching about here. So it should be here, what you learn in this style, centered. And then you've got all this stuff that you do, which is loads of stuff in here. Don't need to talk about all these people that have coached you so much. Bring them down the bottom, get them out of the way. And then you go into this. So I could almost say, right, get rid of all this, get rid of this completely, or put it right down the bottom or on another page even, and then come down here and just go straight into this. This is where it gets, for me, this is where it gets exciting. Look at this, it's brilliant down here. You probably have lost people by the time they get here and they look and they just scroll down to here and it's like, oh, my coaches, oh, that's not, oh, right, people that have taught me. So they might not even get down to here, and this is where it all gets really fun. You know, but it is consistency. I think you've got the right idea. I think you just need to work on it. This is italicized as well. Obviously down here it's not. So there's that continuing run of inconsistencies in the site. But let me go into the pages themselves. I'm pretty sure it'll be the same. If I go through, there might be inconsistencies in there. Oh, okay. So maybe a bit more information on the sales page. That is a Clubhouse cheat sheet. Let me go into room, Clubhouse cheat sheet, workbook, Kickstart, membership. So what's that? Okay, you've got a video unavailable. Double check your site. I realize you're probably still creating this, but and course summary, yeah. So you haven't finished it yet, I understand. So that's just a few things to pick up. Yeah, obviously get rid of that. That's our default thing in there. And then that. I would seriously think about actually making this a manual block because you've got so many things going on in the bullet points here. I would get rid of all of these and I'd put them above it as what you get in the course. Rather, I don't like the bullet points in the pricing thing personally, because it's a really small, narrow column and you've got it, and it just puts it underneath each other. So I like to do it on its own. And then you've just got this block. It'd be really clear then. Obviously, get rid of the default image that's in there of the keyboard. And maybe social media, if you've got social media. Oh, there we go. So there we go. Your links in there are invisible because you've done them in the same color blue as in the footer. You need to go into branding's footer and change that active font color to something that's going to stand out because you can't see anything. Is that on the home page as well? I didn't check down the bottom. It should be, yeah, it is. Definitely need to change that. Looking at the site, I realized that this is a work in progress. So you're just picking my brains on probably things you already know about. Okay, let me stop the share. Let me check group chat, see if Rennie's standing. Oh, Rakesh is here. Hi, Rakesh. Good morning to you. So you got any questions? You got all critiques? God, look at these critiques. I need to do 8 hours with Zenler. Right. This is really good. Brilliant. Yeah, Rakesh is here. If you've got any technical questions you want to ask him about, he's always good to help you out with that. Right, so that's Renee finished. I'm going to jump to the next one now. And I'm checking my time. So Howard on at 10:30. Okay, we got Shea. Now, Shea, I don't know how to pronounce this right. I think it's Shea Patrick. I'm going to call him Patrick. We're going to jump into this now. So let's go screen share. Here we go. So I've already looked at this site. He's doing a good job. There's not a lot that I want to really say because he's covering all the things that I've pretty much talked about. Consistency is key. So see his site, how he's been very consistent. See how he's used the animation. This is good because this is a classic case of someone that's done this before. You know, I can look at this site and I can go, he's done this before for sure. So as you go down, he's got a little bit of movement happening on stuff. He's separated each of the areas. These are all things that I was telling you about. He's kept everything really consistent. He's aligning his text on the left for the second parts, but for these parts are all centered. And he's done that for a reason. So he's got this short text, which you would think, oh, okay, maybe I should center that. But hold on. When you go down, he's actually doing longer sentences. So he wants them to be left aligned so they follow on. So that's exactly what he's done. He's used a really clear on background color text. So there's a lot of contrast, so it's easy to read. He's used the classic orange and blue, which are beautiful colors that go together. And Chris has as well. You can see he's got the design skills there, just a little bit of polishing. And then things like these giveaways and stuff are all done really well. They're all very much clear. So everything's broken away. Do you see how he's broken it away? It makes you want to read it. Like as you're going through this, you can look at that and you go, oh, that's nice and short. Bang, bang. I know what it is. Boost your authority. Become an author. You know exactly what he's talking about straight away. So it's quick catchwords, not loads and loads of text. He's got a background image. He's kept it simple, okay, which is a standard thing here. And then he goes straight into it. You go, yeah, that's digestible to read. So I'm not looking, if that line wasn't there, I'd be scrolling through it. But he's kept it all very digestible chunks. Classic. This is classic of someone that knows what they're doing here. So I really had not a lot to say. Obviously, the way I would design things would be different, but I can't say anything's wrong with this at all. Really nice, clear, crystal clear image of himself there and a bit of information about himself. Again, you can read more if you want to. So he's giving you snippets of information, then he can drive you to another page. And remember, more pages you have in the site with good content, the better they are to be ranked, and there'll be more pages in Google. So this is another good thing that he's doing here. And it's time to write your book and reach new clients. So all internal links to everything in here. And then he has got the classic capture form as well. And the only thing I don't like about this site is I don't like this down here. I think you could do better than that, Shea. You've got all this stuff going on here. And you've got this up here with all this and these and these. I think you could do the same thing for these. I don't like these at all. I think these could be in. That's the only thing really with this site. Other than that, design wise, it's all great. Can't complain about that at all. You might want to check out Ninja Tricks course for increasing your logo size for sure. But good. Sorry, Patrick, can't really say any more than that. So that's Patrick there. So let me stop sharing and jump into the next one. So we have Tracy. Tracy's from Australia, and she actually teaches how to use these quilt. I mean, I don't know a lot about it, but I know from her, it's like she teaches how to use these quilting machines. So she's into all of this stuff. She does lots of different things as well. So let's have a look at her site. And I can jump into the ones on the group. on the chat. So there we go. She's made quite a few changes already, and it's starting to look better. It's nice and clear. This image is not as sharp as maybe it should be, Tracy. I like this now. We talked about things with this logo. She did have this logo on a background and you couldn't really read it, but now she's put it in this like lozenge, which looks really good. And she's made her logo bigger there using the same techniques from Ninja Tricks. So you could do that there. Got a nice photo here, nice and smiley. That's what we like to see. And consistency throughout. So you see, like, really get your main colors, like 3 or 4 colors. We've got blue, we got the reddy orange, we got the black. She's also got green in there, but she's mirroring little bits of color from our logo. Do you see this? So they're all echoed inside the site. And this is quite good. This gives you a very clear pathway to when you're doing your design. So you can say, right, well, my site, my logo's got these sort of colors in, and I can pick out bits. And then you can use a real contrasting color against that as well. I might go for, I think the only problem I've got with this site is maybe too much blue. Even the pop-up comes up with blue. So maybe choose something completely different to really sort of go bang and knock you. You have to play around with different colors to do that. I don't know. Let's have a look and see if I can chuck some colors in here to see if it's going to give it a massively different look. Oops. There we go. Just going to play around with this. So she's cut it out there, but go into an orange. See, if that logo was on that orange, that was cut out. So it went around. Be completely different. Maybe put blue behind there, or even go, no, that's going to be mad. Red woodwork with it. By the way, guys, what I'm doing here is I'm just taking, I've just located this block inside here, and then I've got the color, and I can actually play around with different color combinations by dragging the sliders around. So you can quickly get the color. If you're happy with that color, you can copy it and use that code. I'm not going to go into that, but you can really play around and see what it's giving you. I might even go towards black. Or no, I'll keep that blue and then do something in there like black, because it's really stands out then. But good job. So she's got that background color. This is really nice. Choose between. Tracy does loads of the online courses and stuff, so she's really been working on these things herself. Not sure about this. It looks like it's choose between, or I see what you're doing. Yeah, and then that's capital, that's upper and lower. I think there's some things you can tickle with this to make it a bit better there. But that's good. Notice the green she's using there. Again, that's in her logo. Might use that green a little bit more. I might use it in some of the blocks if I was her. This is a small button text, but she is keeping it all round, but maybe do this white as well. Again, it's the common thing. It's consistency throughout the site, keeping sizes the same, keeping colors the same on certain backgrounds. If you stick with that, it's really a key to success. Keeping a grid format, make sure you're using the same colors and you're keeping things consistent. You can basically do what you like and it's always going to look good. Yeah. So that is to look, that image is quite good, but it looks a little bit sort of vignetted, darker in the corners than it is in the middle. I might put that in a border. Bit more space around here. That's a bit too close to the top, a bit close there. That's another thing as well. If you put things in boxes, give them a little bit of air. So give them a little bit of padding inside the box, just to create a little bit there. If you put it text too close to the edges of a box, the impression that it gives you as someone viewing the site makes you feel like compressed. It makes you feel uncomfortable. So by putting a little bit of air around it, by putting padding in, then you can create a little bit more space to move around. As if you were in a box, a tight box. You know, you want to be in an open park. So think of it in that way as well. And it does make a big difference to people's sort of, they won't even know why, they just feel a little bit uncomfortable. So again, all courses, these course cards are really good. She's got a logo throughout. This is a key thing as well. Wherever you're producing any kind of media, be it course card images, be it videos or anything you're doing, PDF giveaways, always brand it. Make sure all your content is branded up with, in this case, Machine Quilting Academy. And then down here, oh, she's used the black there. See how powerful this is. So I would be tending to use that maybe in this block or even in the header block and cut these blue corners off. And that will work. Down the bottom, that's good. That's pushing onto 2 lines. That's, to me, that feels a bit weird. Why is that indented in there? Try and do it on 1 line if you can. She's got a social media in there. Oh, another great tip, guys. If you've got social media, do a little block, put it on each page down the bottom. If you want to try and drive, especially if you're a new site creator and you want to drive traffic to your social media sites, make sure that you put, do a nice block. I'll give you an example. I'm just going to stop the share because some people get upset by the content on my website because I do anatomy and those sort of things. So I'm going to just jump straight down to the bottom of the page. Not explicit or anything, but people get upset. Don't want to upset people. Okay, let me get that here. Oh, there we go. Okay, so there we go. So you can see on the bottom of all my pages on my site, I have my social media. They're in a nice big block there. This really stand out. And this is a really good thing because people can then go straight to them. They can see it on there. I've still got it down here, but they're very small. Okay, so this is definitely something to bear in mind for sure. All right, so I think Tracy's done. And that's it. So I can start working my way through some of the ones that are posted. Right. Oh, Jackie. Jackie, it's your turn. So I've already seen Jackie's site. We worked on some bits here, so this is good. Right, it's changed a bit. That's good. Okay. This is nice. I like the title. Empowering Parent Project. You know what? I probably wouldn't do the header full width. It goes a bit tight to the side. I would definitely make this bigger. The logo. $80 seems to be a better size. Just gives it a little bit more power. Yeah, so I think it would be better if this was all brought in. Take that, make that full width, jump into the Ninja course, make your logo about 80. And I think that'll look better straight away. And it will push to the middle more. Okay, so the empowered, this is a different size to this. I think it's almost like this, and this need to be in the same block. And it's spreading down a little bit too much. We look at Tracy's site here, or even Chris's site. He's got it all in here. Let me actually go to Surf Dude's site. I'll kind of explain it. So it's all in here, but it's all in one block. Yeah. I think that would be better. This image, I know what you're trying to do with this image, but it might be better to have this image, have this, and then have this in this size text. That's okay. And maybe have this as a background image. So have all of this in one block, have this as a background image, and then put a tint behind it or over the top of this. So you can see it's people, their family, the little dog. But you've then got all this stuff going on over the top. Then by doing that, it will take this block down to about this height here. So you're not losing the page with that image. The image is actually knocking, it's not really doing anything. And it's making you go down, scroll down too far. And I think on a mobile device, it might be even more kind of evident. Let me just have a look. Oh no, it rolls in, but it doesn't, it's then small. It's quite a lot of stuff going on before you get down into this stuff. So I definitely think about making that one block to keep it shorter, because it's at that point that we start to get a little bit of animation, which is really good. And then you've got, are you ready to take action? This is the exciting bit. I can almost lose this and just have it like here. You know, just have is your child suffering from anxiety? They already know they're on the Empowered Parent Project. So do you need to say it twice? No. But by combining this and putting it down here, you're going straight into the fun area. And it's like here, I'd probably take this block, move it down, because you're still talking about stuff here. And I like this. I like this color. Resize an image, try and find an image that's a bit taller in there, because at the moment it's just sitting here. Either do that or select the row, go to the gear icon, down the bottom, go to alignment top, and that will take this and it will put this image at the top here. I would probably try and go for a longer image, you know, and that way it will take up more of that space. There won't be this empty space here. Remember, what we're trying to do is geometrically, we're trying to balance it. So if you think of a page as a kind of seesaw, so if you've got like a seesaw in the middle, is that part of the block balanced? Would it balance? Because at the moment, this wouldn't, it would tip that way. So it's not balanced. So if you can balance the two up, then automatically it's going to be right. It's going to look balanced. You know, if someone's leaning over, you've got a ballet dancer and they're actually doing like a move, if you look at the center line, both parts of their body are the equal amount on both sides, and that keeps them balanced. They're using their head or their arms to keep themselves balanced. And it's the same with page design. If you can think of a page or a block as, does that look balanced to me? Is it tipping that way? Is it tipping that way? If you can balance it, it will always look right. Okay, that's the key thing to remember about these things. So then we've got here, we've got a little podcast going on, which is good, but it's sitting on its own. We need to do something here. We need to make this bigger. I think you've used a wrapper. So the wrapper's width, you need to make bigger. Set the wrapper to 100% if you've used code for this, and then it will go right the way along. Definitely title it. I don't know. I can read there, but I like to have a title on the top. And again, we've got a balance issue with this again. So once you sorted this out, you'll understand it and you'll better apply it to that. I like this. I like the little ticks, all those things. By the way, guys, you can use emojis in there here as well. If you go and grab an emoji, if I just go into like go tick emoji like that, just find a tick emoji. You can actually go and copy this like that. Right, Control C to copy it, and you can paste that straight into Page Builder. It'll put the emoji in there. So you can find lots of different emojis online, and you can just go and copy them, paste them straight in there. So that's another good little tip for you. So this is all good. It doesn't lead anywhere. There's a bit too much space here. I would relook at that. Again, we've got this same issue. Did a video. This is from YouTube. I did a video on our YouTube channel. Definitely check this out, Tracy. not Tracy, Jackie. Here it is. So youtube.com/Zenler. Go into, got to find it now. Here we go. Getting responsive YouTube videos. So in here, I show you how to make a YouTube video responsive. Now I show it for a blog post, but the same thing can be applied for a page as well. Definitely check this out. If you're stuck, give me a call about that. So that will make that go right away to the end there. And then when people resize it in mobiles, it will resize down. Okay. So ready to take action, really like this. And this kind of works. I like this. It works with it being slightly higher. And lovely photo there. Fantastic. And then a bit of information about yourself. And this is all good as well. So yeah, there's a few little tweakers to be done with that. Yeah, good. Okay. Is Jackie on? Have you written any questions down, Jackie? Tracy's on there. She's going to be implementing them now. And Amar's, David, thanks for your help. Good insights. Changes just. Yeah, Carrie, I'm making the changes because I'm just using the inspector. But that's just because I know about code. Some people can get really confused with this. To make any changes, generally what I do is I'll just do some things in the CSS. So by inspecting the code, you can just basically have a little code box come up, and then you can just select certain boxes to make some changes. But it can be tricky. If you don't know what you're doing, it can be tricky, all right, to know where you're going. So you might just get more confused by it. So don't worry, it's just a development tool that I'm using there. Yeah, Jackie's here. So Jackie wanted, I wanted my thumbnail, my video, I embed them, and I wasn't sure how to thumbnail, I wasn't sure how to thumbnail. If they're from YouTube, you can upload your thumbnail to, when you upload, you'll see underneath there's little thumbnails that come up, and it's basically they're generated from the video that you upload. But you can go and upload your own. If you do upload your own, and you'll make sure that you're recording an image that's the same size as the video that you've uploaded. So I'll give you an example. If you upload an HD video, 1920 by 1080 pixels, then I would create an image to go with that is 1920 by 1080 pixels. And then I could upload it in the box. You can see there's a little upload your own thumbnail. You can upload it there and it will appear in there. But your problem is the size of that image. The size of that video. You need to make that video bigger, okay, or responsive inside there. So that's how you can do that. Right, Jackie, that's you. Tracy's here then. So Tracy, right, good. I knew you'd be here, Tracy. I knew it. Right, so I'm going to move on to the next one now, which is, can we see your screen? Done that one, cheers. Ambika. So I've not looked at any of these. We've got a few minutes before Howard comes on. So I'm going to go to this one now. So I'm not sure I spelt it right, but Mummy Montessori. So it's Indian-based site. Okay, yeah, so your logo definitely could do being resized. It's really small. That looks really, really small. I think you've put lots of white space around the image when you've uploaded it. Crop it really closely, yeah, so that it maintains as big as you can make it. But that can definitely do with being increased in size for sure. Let's see in there. I tend to like 90. You can see that looks a lot better already. I think you could afford to come up to 150. Your image is really big though. You need to crop it down really close to the edge. Don't leave lots of white space around the outside of the original image. I think I can see how much, yeah, you can see how much white space is left around that image. You need to crop it really close in here, and that will make the image bigger. Yeah, and also you can use the ninja tricks to make the logo bigger as well. So while, if Rakesh is still here, Rakesh, can you answer a question? Can you tell me, I think you're doing it anyway, can you tell me if in the new Page Builder 2.0, we're actually going to be including some way of changing the logo for people? Because if that's going to happen, that'll be really good. I'm pretty sure it is, but I thought I'd ask the boss. All right, so moving through this, it all looks pretty good, actually. Well, this part does. You've only got one course at the moment. You know, if you've got one course at the moment, it's probably best to just do a CTA and just send them straight to the sales page. So as an example of that, I'm going to jump into the Surf Dude site. So something like this, you know, you could do a CTA block up like this and have a button on it, and they could click straight through to that. I'm going to stop the screen share, and I'm just going to show you my site again. Sorry guys, I know I'm showing you my site all the time, but it's got everything on it that I need to sort of demo to you. Yeah, that'll do. It's not too bad, is it? Yeah. So let's share again. Okay, so I've got this ZBrush course, and I've got Enroll for Student. Now, this is a course, yeah, but all I've done is I've linked it to the sales page, all right? So I've created a CTA block. So I think this is, when you've only got one course, I think this is what you should do. I think when you start getting like a few courses in there, then you could maybe use the dynamic course block. But I think initially you want to delete this out and create one that says the Montessori method, and then just do a nice image behind it, you know, maybe even put it here, a button here going straight to the sales page, you know, and put the price in there as well, and then you know. So I think that would work for sure, you know, for that, because it just looks, when you've got one course in there, it just, there's so much white space, you know, it says all courses, there's only one course. You know, guys, also these dynamic headings, all these things can be changed inside the language settings inside your course. So all courses can be changed to something else. You can actually delete it out and leave it. So if you need me to talk more about that, then let me know. Right. So I'm going to scroll down. It is all clean. You know, you have kept the font size all the same size. These are nice and clear, big font size, and then it kind of ends. So maybe the only thing that's lacking with me with this site is there's just no impact. There needs to be, like, maybe have a little bit of animation going in there, maybe change this up a bit. Let me see if I can make some changes now on the fly. There's certain things I can do, there's certain things I can't do. It's hard because I need to change the font to white, white for it to show. Yeah, it's a bit of a pain. Let me try this. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to. Okay, but it could definitely do with a bit more impact. So I would, too much space between the top here. If anything, when it comes to putting things in blocks, if you're not going to keep it the same top and bottom with the padding inside, you want to make it closer to the top and have more padding at the bottom. Okay, optically this looks better. This space between here and here is less than here to here. So what I would do is I would move this right up. Okay, so it's in there. If you want more of the image shown, then just increase that margins, increase that spacing top and bottom, but just keep that relationship with either this in the center or more nearer the top. Okay, just optically it looks better. I would also go ahead and take this and make it bold or extra bold, just so it stands out from this. And you've kept your font sizes pretty regular, which is good, pretty standard. And that's a good thing, but it looks like the site's only just kind of been started. So there's that as well. Yeah, you're following the same standards through, which is all good. And Beaker, so there's a nice photo in there, and you've got all that in there. Probably less of a gap between these two. Yeah, so watch that. All courses. Yeah, you've got one course in there. Support goes to a form. They've got a yellow button there. So go into your branding and change it back. Make it more, I can see in your logo, it's more orangey than yellow. So make it more orangey, because yellow, that just looks, it just looks really weird. Having that yellow, it's just really bright on that gray. It's kind of almost clashing or fading in. So if you can make it, go into the branding settings and just tweak with the button colors. But I can see you've just sort of started, you haven't finished yet. And what are these? So these are not, I almost feel like I want to click on these. I would take these and I would make them into their own blocks. I would have a block here with this in, and then underneath it, I'd have a block with this in underneath it. Maybe a little bit more information on it. There's not a lot, but I realize you're probably still working on your site here. So good, right, finished. So next one we've got on is, and I think we're nearly there. I've got Carrie Ann. So I might be carrying on your one, Carrie Ann, when we come back after Howard, because Howard's on very soon. So art by Carrie Ann. Oh, wow, this is great. This is great. Yeah, I'm an artist myself, Carrie Ann. So yeah, I love these kind of sites. One thing I would say is it's quite soft. I don't know if your painting is that style or it's kind of very soft looking. I think it could be sharper. I'm not sure if it's the size that you've uploaded them. I like this. Again, I'm not a one for doing full width. It doesn't work with some sites. Just to check your logo size here, because I think your logo is really good. I really love that logo. And you've probably done that all yourself as well, I think. This is a good thing if you're an artist. You can do all your own stuff. Look at that. So that looks a lot better. If it was in the middle more, then it would be better. But as it was, at that size it was, you could hardly see it. It looks like a squiggle, doesn't it? It looks like almost like a Chinese rune or something. So by putting that to 150 pixels, you can actually see what it is. Probably even go bigger than that with that particular logo. Yeah, so like that looks much better. And I probably, like I said, I'd probably put it in the middle more. So I don't do it full width, unless you really want to. Down here is all good. You generally find that artists and designers are doing good jobs on their websites. It's just because that's what they do. So when it comes to creating artwork, a painter will often look at what they're doing and they'll just reflect that back in the work. You'll always get it that their sites are just now, they might never have done a website before in their life, but naturally they're used to working with color combinations and they just automatically make it look good. And you go, why can't I get a site like that? And it's just because they're working with it. It's not a thing. You follow some of these guides, we keep things consistent, make sure things are balanced, pick out colors of your logo, and you'll be doing this stuff. you know, just make sure everything's balanced. That's the most important thing. Again, you're going to see all this stuff is centered. I haven't even looked at this site, and I guarantee that if I scroll down, the same thing will happen. Yep. So she's put these in nice little tablets, you know, for a kind of little course subjects in here. This looks really good. Really nothing to say. Nothing to say. Carrie. Yeah, scribbles, detailed drawings, loads of tutorials. These are really good. Tiger Cub tutorial. You know, it really makes me want to take the courses. That's what you need when you look at it as a new person. I mean, it's definitely worth on the Facebook group. You've got a community there. Just reach out to people, say, you know, have a look at other people's sites, see these people that are creating really nice sites like Carrie, contact them and just say, can you look at my site? What am I doing wrong? And they can give you some pointers, because that's all it is sometimes. It's just pointers. It's like we're doing the critiques today, and I think it's going to be super helpful for you because you can just see where it's coming from. And there's only a few tips you've got to remember. So maybe overuse of this color, Carrie. You're probably aware of that already. You've got it here, you've got it here, you've got it here, you've got it here. It's a lovely color, but maybe overuse of it. I would think about chucking some black and white blocks in there to mirror your logo. So when you come down to something like this, do it in black with white, it will really pop. Break it up. There is maybe an overuse of that color. Okay. But other than that, I can't say. I really like this down here. You've got the black on there already. You've got there, Facebook. Depending on how you've got the messenger chat in there, right? Okay, that's brilliant. So this here, this Facebook, it's just standalone. It's just on its own. There's nothing else on there. Maybe get rid of it from there. Looks a bit lost. Maybe at the bottom of the footer, on each footer, you could actually do a little sort of call to action. Put the Facebook in there and just say what's happening on your Facebook group. I don't know if it's a closed group or an open group, but it might be worth putting something in there, a bit of information about what goes on there. You share tips every week, or, you know, definitely you're an artist, right? You're probably recording all the stuff as you're painting. You want to take some of the snippets from those courses and start a YouTube channel, right? YouTube channel for artists is brilliant, is really good, right? So you definitely want to do that. And that will drive a lot of traffic. They see your finish, even if you don't show them, you just give them pointers on color theory or something, you show them some of your work, and then they'll be like, oh wow, that's really good, and they'll just join. They'll just go to your site and sign up through there. So that's worth doing as well, Carrie, from that point of view, from a marketing point of view. And overuse of this color. Let me see if I can change this. Yeah, see how that can completely change the look and feel of it, you know, or even go to something lighter. So you've got that normal color down there, that end of the spectrum, but you could push that up towards that color, or even that color. You could play with where you are. So I'm in your area, I'm in your color area now. This is what it is. You can push and pull this one way or the other. See how I'm going diagonally from one point, from the initial point there, I'm dragging up this way. It works with it. I'm dragging up that way. What happens if I pull it this way? So you get this, it's in that same area. So this would be a good color to use. Black would be a good color to use, or anywhere around that point. Even that. You know, and you could play with that in each of the blocks. So it would really give it an extra level, and wouldn't give that same effect. So you've got that in there. So you could just, all you need to do then is just set that color. And then you can grab that color in there and paste it into the site, background color there. Okay. So really good though. Really good job, Carrie. Really like that. Really nice site. Okay, we're coming up to 10:25. So what I want to do now is I want to announce a charisma coach. Okay, his name's Howard. He's been helping out with the marketing course. There was a lot of questions come up asking about, let me just go off the screen share. A lot of questions come in asking how to be better on camera, to avoid things like ums and ahs. And it's something that I'm working on. Definitely there's a massive improvement in my pre-recorded videos. I'm still trying to cut them out whilst I do things like lives. So you might see that sometimes I'll stop more and then I'll continue. And it's just because I'm being taken through this course by Howard on how to get around these things and how to project yourself more on camera to create, to just give a better thing, and also how to do, like, go on and do, just present live like I am now with no script or anything. So it's been really good. He's been really good at this, and he said that I said, can you come on a live? Can you come on like a day with Zenler? Because the people in my marketing group, they've all seen you, but nobody's seen you on live streaming into our group. So he very kindly has offered, you know, he's not getting anything for this. You can still contact him. Here's Howard now. You can contact him, and he's quite happy to send you free cheat sheets and things like that if you want to, but he's not publicizing himself. He's purely doing this to help the community because he's just a really helpful, good guy. So I need to probably turn his camera on. So let me just make him there. So he's going to be coming on any second. Here he is. Howard, hiya.
Hello, how are you, David?
I'm good, I'm good. Yeah, I've just told everybody about you. You might want to go into a little bit more detail on everything you do. And I've also mentioned how you're teaching me. So I think I'm doing much better. Howard's got me doing some crazy things, right? I'm not even going to show you. But it's a real experience, and it's really is helping me. And although I've been doing this stuff for decades, there. I've been doing it for decades, but there's still things to learn. You know, there's always something to learn. And one of the big things that came up in the marketing group was like, I don't feel confident on camera. I don't know, you know, I'm not pretty. All these kind of things come out, all these self criticisms. It's never from you guys looking in. It's your own insecurities that you can't get on camera, which is funny, really, because it's like, you know, I'll come on, my hair will be all over the place, you know, and Rakesh will say you need a haircut and those kind of things. So you've got to get over this, and Howard is really good at doing that and teaching you these techniques to do it. So do you want to have a chat about yourself, Howard, and then I don't know what you're going to teach today because you haven't told me.
I'm going to start with a story, David. So when I was earning my professional equity card many years ago, we did a tour of schools in the north of England, and one of the places we went to was inside a nuclear power station, I kid you not. And inside that nuclear power station, all the children were there watching the show, and the parents were lined up against or in front of the bar. It was Christmas time, getting totally blathered, as we would say, totally drunk. And we went through the show, and I played Silas McNasty, the bad guy. And when I was delivering one of my, oh, you horrible little kids speeches, one of the kids threw a marble, and it came so close to my eye that I could feel the breeze as it passed my eyeball. It was extremely close to blinding me. In fact, it would have been very nasty if it had hit me. Anyway, they were lovely folks. And afterwards, you know, they gave us lasagna and chips and all this stuff. And they said, you know, how was that? And I said, well, yeah, it was very good. And they said, well, the kids love the show. And I said, well, that may be true, And they said, no, they love the show. And I said, yes, but one of the kids, I just have to tell you, threw a marble. And the guy looked at me and he said, that's nothing, mate. Last year they threw chairs. So what's the lesson of this? Sometimes in our minds, the worst thing happens when we go on camera, or we fear the worst, where in actual fact, what is the worst that could happen to you when you go on camera? It could be you fear or you forget that what you're going to say. It may be that you just fear you're going to go blank. You might not like the way you look or sound. All of these things are fears that can be overcome, whether that's through sheer dogged persistence. I know that David has spent many, many years repeating and repeating video techniques and studying, I believe, on YouTube and different art books and trying to implement different things to learn. And the result is he's very confident, I think, on camera, an extremely pleasant personality to listen to and to learn from and to watch. So that's not an accident. I come from the world of, on the one hand, professional acting, as you've just heard from the marble story, and on the other hand, from the world of natural born entrepreneurship. So at the age of 9, I was making and selling my own candles at school, all the way through to 7 years ago when I came to Shanghai, where I am now. And I built a business within a year, 6-figure business with no contacts, zero Mandarin, no real knowledge of what I was doing. And a lot of that I attribute to what I call charisma. And some of you may feel, well, charisma is something inbuilt, it's innate. For some people, that may be true. For me, I was very shy, I was introverted as a teenager. I came from a science background and the world was very black and white, and performing of any kind was extremely scary to me. And I've learned over the years to be more natural on camera. And so I don't want to today, it's a live event, we've got 20, 30 minutes. I don't want to just throw loads of stuff at you. I would love it if you could just take a moment to think, and if you wish, write in the chat, it's up to you. And you can send it, I think, directly to David as a message as well. He's probably having a cup of tea, but just tell me in the chat or write to David, or just think for yourself, what is your biggest challenge, your biggest obstacle to going on camera, making videos and doing marketing, doing sales videos, doing educational videos, any kind of appearance on camera, going on live? Just take a minute and I'll just keep quiet for a minute just to let you think, what is your number one challenge? Okay, so again, it doesn't have to be a novel, it can just be a sentence or two. When David comes back, I'll ask him to feed me those questions because I can't see them. I'm actually quite technically challenged on camera. That's one of my biggest challenges, is green screens and lighting and audio. I'm not an expert on that. So I want to talk briefly about 3 things. One is implementation, one is impact, and the other is improvisation. So when it comes to people who may already be pretty comfortable on camera, but what they feel they need in order to get to the next level is simply to implement, simply to practice. Is that true for you? Do you feel, oh, I really should make some videos here. I know I should start a YouTube channel. I know I should, but other stuff comes along. You might be busy creating your course or doing the things that we need to do to build a business, and somehow or other the video practice gets sidelined. So I'd just like to give you one very quick tip to help you with that. And that's something I've used with David. And it's, if you're not familiar with it, I've used it myself. It's great. It's called habit stacking. So before I came on camera today, and before I go on camera whenever it's important, and pretty much these days it's always important when we go on camera, I warm up. And I warm up physically, I warm up verbally, and I warm up emotionally and mentally, so that as soon as I'm talking to you and presenting to you, I'm at my best for you. Picture this. Oh yeah, I've just got out of bed and my voice is croaky, and you're very soon going to be switching to another channel. So to be sharp, to be professional in any area, we need a warm-up. And certainly I believe if you Google vocal warm-up, you'll find a million of them. If you want to message me, I will certainly send you, I've got 3 videos as a warm-up that I can send you as a freebie. And I do that every single time. And so it becomes a habit. But initially, remembering to do it can be difficult. So habit stacking is, for example, that you stack the new habit on top of one that you would do normally. So you will have a routine of some kind to go on camera, whether that's setting up your camera, setting up your lighting if you use it, or your green screen or your microphone, whatever it is that you do to prepare. Just choose a moment to insert the warm-up. So for David and for me, putting up a green screen or any kind of screen, I'm not using a green screen right now, but setting up a green screen is a time to do a 5-minute warm-up. And that can help with sheer implementation, because now I've been doing that warm-up for, well over 20 years, and it's massively helpful to me on all those levels. The second thing I'd like to talk to you briefly about is impact. So some people, I don't know if this is the case for you, they feel very comfortable when you're one-to-one or face-to-face or even with a group of people. But when it's like this, when you can't see anybody, or you're just producing a sales video or a marketing video into space and you're just addressing a camera, that can feel, am I making an impact? How do I know? How can I gauge the reactions of others? So for those of you who are old enough to remember voicemail, when it came to leaving a message on a phone, which we don't really do very much anymore because of changes in technology, this is sort of how it would go. Oh, hello. Hi, it's Howard here, and I'm a charisma coach, and I'd just like to tell you about the new course I'm doing. And when I hesitate, it's uncomfortable because I'm expecting a reply. I'm expecting a response. How do I make up, and how do you make up for the lack of response from your audience? So here's one suggestion I have for you. And you may have heard this before. If you've heard it before, just put that "I've heard this before" to one side and think, how can I implement this? So here's the way I implement it. Let's say David's just come back on camera. I can see him now, but let's just say I can't. David is an ideal potential client for me, really, because he's so enthusiastic. He implements every suggestion I make and he gets massive benefit from it. So David could not be better as an avatar. So when I say something like, when you go to your green screen, take some time to breathe, to warm up. I'm imagining David inside the camera lens, smiling back at me and going, "Yes, Howard, I'm on it, mate." And we need those yeses normally. Some of us, if we're very introverted, would much prefer not to see the faces of those around us. And for that, message me and I have some techniques around that. But most of us need some affirmations. We need some nods. We need some yeses. Another thing you can do, obviously, if you're on Zoom or in Facebook, is to ask for those in the chat. You know, give me a 1 if you think that's a good idea. Give me a reaction on Zoom if you like that, you don't like it. And those are ways of substituting for that reaction. So I realized I don't need to wait for the response if I picture it in my mind. And I picture, let's just say, David, I hope you don't mind me using you as my temporary avatar, David, but I'm picturing David going, "Yes, mate, I get, yes, you're absolutely right. Yes, I was nervous too. Yes, I feel a bit funny on camera, etc. Yes, yes, yes. And that helps me nod. And that you may feel tempted to nod along with me. These are deeply inbuilt. And then lastly, improvisation. So I don't use a script. Well, I say that on very rare occasions, I will use a script, and I will use a script on the occasions when timing and wording is absolutely critical. So it doesn't matter today, it's alive. It doesn't matter if we mess up, if I go over my 20 minutes or under it, or if I forget and I go, it's human, mistakes happen. But if I'm producing a sales video for, a $2,000 course, I'd better be sharp, I'd better imbue trust, I'd better be totally professional. And in those cases, I might use a script. I would advise you not to use a script unless you are masterful at reading. So a couple of things that can happen, and if you've seen any of my other training, you'll know this. Some of the things can happen if you're close to the camera. We can see your eyes moving as you're reading the script. The other thing that can happen is I start using my reading tone. So I'm now going to tell you about my great product and service. I've got a course for it on Zen, and I sound like I'm reading. And then the last thing is, if I rely on the written word, there's a couple of dangers. What if there's some technical blip and the written word disappears? I'm lost. I'm really screwed, to put no finer point on it. Whereas if I know where I start, where I end, and approximately the journey in between, I can't get lost. And the other potential danger with a script is we can spend days, hours, weeks, months, years, I dare say, and I've done this, hammering our words, hammering the perfect script, only to find that that's not really the way we speak. The way I'm speaking now is certainly not the way I'm writing. And the way I write would certainly sound very strange if I spoke it to you aloud. So we have to write for the ear. We have to write for the emotions. We have to write for the impact that I just want to get across. So my biggest tip when it comes to making an impact is to have that nodding avatar and to draw from what you absolutely know in your heart, soul, if you believe in it, your mind, that you've got lots of experience and expertise in, but you only need to be one step ahead of the people you're speaking to have that knowledge. You don't need, like me, to have decades of experience in order to be passionate about your subject. In my view, you just need to have lived that experience. So that goes to impro. Impro is something where that yes is what we embrace. So if you've put, I don't know if there are any questions in the Facebook group or in the chat, but if there are, my first attitude towards those questions is to say yes. Great question. I'm so glad you asked, because everyone else probably in the live and watching this has that question or a variation of it. So well done you for being brave enough. And while I'm saying all that, I also give myself some time to think of an answer. And so in improv, we don't want to get generally into the blocking frame of mind where we're giving any kind of a no. So there's an embracing of the moment. There's an embracing of the excitement. I'm improvising, let's face it, all of this. I didn't exactly know where I was going, except I knew I would start with a story from having a marble. I'm going to finish that story in a minute. And I knew I would end with that. I knew I would have 3 eyes. So, improvisation, impact. And I've forgotten this third one, see, just to prove I'm improvising. And then I knew roughly where I was going. And I knew I wanted it to be about 20 minutes. So apart from that, I don't know exactly how things are going to unfold. I changed that story at the last minute because the original story I had thought about didn't feel right. So obviously you may be saying, oh, that's all very well for you, Howard. You've got decades of experience. You're trained as a professional. I'm an expert in my business offline, but when it comes to the world of cameras, I would be so scared about improvising like you're improvising right now. So if that's the case for you, I'm going to recommend you do one thing, which is have on the wall behind your desktop or laptop or whatever it is, your phone, or have mounted on a stand, a big piece of paper with 3 or 4, maximum 5 bullet points, big, bold words. In my case, that could be marble, impact, improvisation, whatever the third one was, and then closure. And so I will, if I then forget, I can look up to that word, and now it just simply looks as though I'm thinking about something, and actually I'm looking at the word impro. So that's my prompt. Far better, I think, than a script. And then, of course, if you still feel that's not enough, you can do what I'm doing now as a talking head. Then you can go into a little bubble at the side and use PowerPoint and slides, which I use in my top tips. I couldn't possibly remember those, but those are words that then prompt me to talk around the subject. So if you do have a script in terms of your PowerPoint slides, cut that right down to single words or a single image, and then speak around it using your knowledge, your expertise, your passion. And that effectively is improvisation. So again, many of us can get caught up on labels. Improvisation is nothing more in my world, although there actually can be a lot to it. There's nothing more than speaking from the heart and being unafraid. So if we go back to the marble story, I was unafraid of that marble in that moment because the persona of Silas McNasty protected me. And again, message me if you'd like to know more about this, but putting on a persona is slightly different from being our authentic self. I want you to be your authentic self. I want to see the authentic David and Howard and all of you bring it on camera and really reach the hearts and minds of the people you speak to. But just think of your own life. You're a different person when you're on your own, when you're with your loved ones, when you're with a little child, when you're with your boss, when you're talking to clients. All of them are you, but all of them are personas. All of them are different aspects, different representations of ourselves. So as I warm up, and as I warmed up as Silas McNasty, as I put on this jacket and this t-shirt and mount the lights and do all the screen stuff, I'm putting on the persona of I'm Howard, I'm the charisma coach for business folks. And so I would encourage you to develop your persona. So it's you, it's the genuine you, but it's not the you that just got out of bed and you're grumpy because you just had an argument with your partner. It's not the you that is full of fear, it's the you that's full of confidence. However, here's the warning. Don't be overconfident. So as Silas McNasty, I was overconfident. Despite that marble flying at my eye, I decided to risk everything, including my life. In the interval, I went to the public toilet, and that was a huge mistake because when I got inside that toilet, or washroom if you're American, some of the kids saw me and they went, "It's Silas McNasty," and they literally raided that toilet. They were hammering on the door. They would, I think, had that door not been locked, have done me serious physical harm. So what we must never be is overconfident or arrogant. And again, using the word charisma, some people say, oh, you know, I don't want to be some arrogant razzmatazz loudmouth. I don't want that either. I'm not that. I'm a believer in the gentle path to persuasion, the quiet method of bringing passion. within the compass of my personality. If you are by nature loud and razzmatazz, or if you're a Silas McNasty, naturally, that's fine. But always, I would say, walk with humility. We're all human beings. We all make mistakes. We all have flaws. Being on camera is no different from any other form of communication. People are very forgiving generally, and they want value. So I hope that's brought you some value in 20 minutes. And I'm happy to stay around for as long as it takes. I've made time available to answer any questions you might have. Thank you very much. And I hope that was useful. Back to you, David.
Right, thank you, Howard. So as you saw there, really, really good stuff from Howard, as usual. So yeah, well, Howard, we do have some questions coming. One's from Jackie. She suffers from a real lack of self-confidence, I guess, on camera. So, I mean, from my point of view, you just have to do it. You're always at first going to be very nervous, very shy, you know, and it's almost like sometimes what happens is the reverse. I mean, I want you to pick up on this, Hal, but from my point of view, look at a lot of comedians such as Benny Hill. In private, they were shy and really, you know, just stay in their shell. But when they got a camera in front of them, that was the opposite. They came alive. So what do you think about that? How do you drive self-confidence when you're on camera?
Yeah, well, Jackie, thank you so much for that question. There are two things I would do. One is I would re-emphasize what you've just said, David. So I'll give you an example of a wonderful presenter called Darren Lacroix, who started out being extremely unfunny. You mentioned comedians, and that prompted the thought. Darren's contributing to an ebook I'm producing about presenting. Watch this space. And he said, you know, he practiced stand-up comedy, which is amongst the hardest of disciplines to master. He practiced and practiced, and eventually, you know, he got a little chuckle. And anyway, he was doing it again and again. He had a mentor at the time, and a guy came on stage. It was his very first time on stage, and he nailed it. He had the audience in absolute hysterics. They were falling off their chairs. And Darren turned to his mentor and he went, "Oh, you know, that good for that guy, but that is rather depressing because, you know, I've been doing this for so long, and how do I know if I'm even going to succeed?" And his mentor said, "Darren," I may be misquoting slightly, but it's something like this, "Darren, it's not about the guy getting the laughs or the other laughs. It's just about the guy who's going to succeed is the guy who keeps showing up." And so all I would say to you, Jackie, is feel that fear. And I can, again, you know, we may go over the time. I can give you some specific tips to deal with that. And then get on camera and just, unless it's alive, just spend the first 3 minutes just verbalizing every single fear you have, get it off your chest, and then make a start. It's like, well, the camera's going to break. Oh, I look horrible. Oh, I sound horrible. Oh, nobody cares. No one's going to listen. Oh, and you'll tire yourself out. And then after that, you know, the camera's still rolling. Take a breath. Say, okay, let's just set those fears to one side. Hi, I'm Jackie, and I am here to do X. And that brings me to the second part. Yes, there's a value in sheer repetition, but focus as hard as you possibly can on what it is that you're trying to bring to your audience, to your David. You know, I've got an avatar in David, if you like. I have other avatars, people who are really perfect. We get on so well and we have a great relationship. Think of someone like that in your life. What value are you trying to bring to that person, Jackie? And focus as hard as you can on that, and forget everything else. Forget the camera, forget the lights, forget the screen, forget everything. It doesn't matter. I know another wonderful presenter who uses no backdrop, no snazzy effects, and he's very eminent in his field. I won't mention his name because he told me this in private, but he only focuses on, if I give you value, you do not care what I look like, what I sound like, if I've got books or buzzing things or plain backgrounds. Yes, these help. Yes, they raise the professional bar, but really, I don't know what your niche is, Jackie, but you must be strong in that niche. All I care about as your avatar is, can you help me, please, Jackie, with my pain? That's the only reason you're asking me, is because you've got a pain in lack of self-confidence. And then lastly, no, it can be fixed. It can take time depending on the degree of severity. I've worked with people whose lack of self-confidence goes all the way back to childhood, but it can be worked on, improved. I'm an example of that. So take heart, sheer practice, focus on the value, get it off your chest, reach out to me for more help if you want it.
Brilliant. Yeah, I mean, that's the same with your site. It's the same with your courses, same with your site. You're starting, especially if you're starting at the beginning, you give it a year and look back at what you've done, you're going to improve. And it's the same on camera. When you get on camera, you're going to be, at first, you're going to be really kind of like, you know, less, but then you'll start to open up because you're going to get more comfortable. I was a classic case of that, because really I was only ever a voice on all my videos. If you look back at them, it's like 90% of them is just not me on camera at all. There was a reason behind it. I wanted to show the interface. So that's the reason behind it. And people said, I don't really want to see your head. I want to see what you're doing. I don't care about what you look like or any else. They're more interested in the value I was giving them, as Howard's mentioned. You know, so I didn't need to be on head. But now with Zenler, of course, I have to. So when I first did the lives I think we started with office hours, I was nervous, which was kind of weird because I don't normally get nervous when I'm talking on my videos, but I was. But now I'm not bothered. You know, I just come on and do what I do, you know, and if you like it and I'm helping people, that's all you care about. You know, you just want the help from me, and it doesn't matter if I've, you know, shaved my hair off or let it grow and it's over my eyes. so I've got a few more questions for you, Howard, because I know
has that helped, Jackie?
I don't know if Jackie's still on. No,
okay.
Yeah, I don't think she jumped on, but she will catch that, because I did a critique of her site. So
she's so inspired, she's gone off to record her first video, mate.
She might have, yeah, she might have. I've got a few others. Lena's put just be natural. So that, yeah, is like what you said, really. It's be natural on camera, be your authentic self. Then I've got another one from Ambika. So she's saying, for recorded videos, I become self-conscious and I delete and re-record, then it doesn't look natural.
Yeah. So this is a very good point. One of the things you can do is deliver and practice in sections, and in between each section, just stop speaking and hold a smile, and then start with the smile on the next take, and then get someone brilliant like David. I don't know if I should advertise your services, but get someone brilliant to help you edit it. Because again, I don't know about you, but I get very put off by the videos that are constantly cutting. So the person's going, hello, my name is Howard. And I'm, oh my God, this person can't even say hello without cutting. So yeah, practice in chunks. It's Lena, right? So
it's Ambika.
I'm sorry, Ambika.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you said, that's what you'll see on some of the recordings that I've done, like for Zenler, that I'll actually cut between them. So like, because I do video editing as well, I like all my creative stuff, but I do video editing. And it's a common thing that if it's a long subject, I mean, I'll give you a classic case was the PayPal that we've got now, subscription and payment plans. Now I recorded the front end of that, and then we needed to put another part into it. So I just put it at the beginning and I just did a soft fade between the two. And that can give you that breakup. So it's quite good. I also use bullet points as well to stay on track with the subject, just like Howard was mentioning, put them on the wall and track them. And I just have it on my screen. So I just look across and I know I'm back on track. So that keeps you going. But Ambika has also said that she really fears, and I can get this because there's a few times where I have to stop myself sometimes. She's a real fear that when she goes live, she might say something wrong.
Yeah. It's probably, Ambika, the most scary thing that we're going to do is go live if we're feeling slightly fearful anyway. So I would say have a very clear map of your territory. And again, time will not allow me to go into this, but there are ways you can get your subject into, this may sound a bit weird, into your body and into your heart and soul and mind. And those are professional performance techniques. They're just not very well known, and they're extremely effective. And so with those in place, and with you speaking from your position of strength, it's very hard to say something wrong. You may take a digression that you didn't expect, as I've done during this particular live. But I think that's to your strength, because the people who are watching then know that that's coming from your expertise, your inner knowledge, your strength. And a digression is actually very good. I think sometimes where we say, do say something wrong, I'd like really to know more what you mean. Do you mean that you fear that you'll get off track and not be able to come back to it? So if you can define it a bit more, I may be able to help you a bit more. But there are very specific techniques I know for mapping the journey even of the live, so that if you're going from London to Paris, you know you're going to get to Paris. You might visit Bristol and then you may go all over to Kent, but you're getting there. You are going to end up at the Eiffel Tower, just as I am eventually. So I'm not sure how helpful that is. It depends what you mean by say something wrong.
Yeah, it's a broad subject. Are you all right to answer one more question, Howard?
Yeah, as long as you wish, I'm here. I've made time available.
All right, I'll go and have another cup of tea then. That's the great thing about Howard. I can just, I could just leave him here. I don't think his wife would be too happy though.
No, it is 6 o'clock in Shanghai in the evening. So yeah, dinner time coming up.
Right. Okay, I'll be quick. Right. So I got Chris Heath, and he's pretty comfortable on screen now. But I know when I'm talking, my sentences can start off okay, but the volume of my voice can drop away.
Right. So, Chris, that is a breathing challenge that can easily be overcome, particularly when we are sitting down. It's hard for us to breathe. So one of the suggestions I'll make is that you get my 3 free videos that will give you the foundational base of breath. If you can, and if it's possible for you, I'm sitting now, but I'm pretty experienced at this stuff. Generally, for most of my videos, I stand, because when I stand, my voice and my breath is much better. So it sounds like you're literally running out of breath. Or the other thing it might be is what we call a tonal issue, where I'm talking strongly at the beginning and then I just sort of fade out of steam. I start off very well and then I don't quite know how to finish it off. So I'm not quite sure. Can you take a moment, Chris, just to tell me which of those 2 you feel it is, whether you're running out of breath or you're running out of tone, if I could put it that way?
Yeah, hopefully he'll come back on that. I think he's still on.
Okay.
I've got the opposite issue. I start off quite light, and I'm really conscious of this because I have to really watch my voice because I do lots and lots of videos, and also run these lives as well. So I'm being really, really careful. taking some of the tips that Howard's taught me to keep my voice good while I'm working through. But one of the things I definitely do is I get excited by what I'm doing. Now, excitement for me leads to me speaking faster. It leads to me getting louder, not quieter. So I might start off really, if you look back at the video at the beginning, I was talking quite quietly because I was really conscious about keeping my voice levels down. But if you look at lots of my videos, what will happen is I'll start to talk like this, and then I'll start shouting at the screen, because that's what I do. It's the opposite of you. So maybe we need a blend. I need a blend of Chris, just a mix.
Yeah, in very, very simple terms, excuse me, the voice is an instrument. And the voice is a very, very powerful instrument. Some people argue it's the most powerful instrument we have, more powerful than body language. I'll leave that for the experts to decide. All I know is I want every instrument I use when I'm marketing my courses, when I'm selling, when I'm communicating, to be at its best. So if the voice is an instrument, we have to learn how to play the tune that we want. So what starts off very natural to us is we think, well, my voice is my voice. It can't be changed. Then we can learn that there are vocal techniques to help support and change the voice without getting political at all. Margaret Thatcher was nowhere as a prime minister, certainly, or really as a politician. She took vocal training. She lowered her voice by, I believe, an octave. And she then had that massive authority that drove her to Downing Street. So very powerful. And everyone is challenged, David and Chris, in different ways. Some go up at the end of their sentences. Some go down at the end of them. Some go quieter. Some get loud. Some yell. Some whisper. Some have strangled in their throat. Some are speaking in their nose. So we all have things, but they can all be overcome. The voice is not set in stone for life. And I know, because I've changed mine, and I've changed the voices of hundreds, if maybe thousands of people around the globe. So it's not something, Chris, again, take heart, you can change it.
Yeah, Chris has come back to me. He said, I'm not sure which one it is. Right. It's in the editing where I noticed the drop in volume for periods of time. Yeah, this is the big problem, because you don't notice it when you're doing it. It's like M's and R's. You only notice it when you look at it in edit and you go, oh my God, I'm doing so many of them. And so, so each time I start, I smile first and deliberately talk confidently, then don't realize the volume has dropped while talking. The scenario when I'm talking while drawing, because he does art. So it's really hard, I think, with that kind of thing, because it's like at first you're on camera like, hello, my name's David, and I'm talking really loud. And then you start doing your work and you start going, no, this is what I do here. And it's a vocal change. I don't think that's wrong with that, but it's kind of, if it's dropping to the point where because artists, Howard, we get wrapped up in our own little worlds. Like I've done it before with some courses that I've done where I've forgotten I'm on live and I'm just so concentrating on what I'm doing. And then I realize that there's actually people watching me.
I appreciate that. And, I'm a creative, and the creative process is extremely absorbing, and rightly so. You're unable, Chris, I would imagine, to really draw well without really focusing. However, take heart. So the actor is totally focused on their character, on their lines, on their delivery, on the passion, the emotion of the moment. But there's a part of an actor's mind that is sheerly and purely standing outside of the role and using the voice that perhaps could be, oh my God, I'm afraid, oh no, what do they think of me? And it's involved in the technical stuff. And one of the things that I could perhaps go into one-to-one with you, Chris, maybe, I don't know, is technically, as you're drawing, that part of your voice that's saying the stuff that's not involved with the intricacies of the work would be going, hit the last word of the line. So I'll give you an example. I'm Chris, and I'm going to be doing a sketch now of a panda bear. That might be what's happening. So I'm just going to focus on hit bear. So I'm Chris, and I'm going to be making a drawing of a panda bear. And so there's a part of me that is technically, it sounds very complicated, doesn't it? But in fact, with practice, we can learn to have that part of our mind that's always standing outside of us, whatever we want to call that part, it doesn't matter. And we can harness that on a technical level to improve the quality of our voice whilst remaining in the artistic sphere. And probably you're harnessing that voice now in the technical way that you're approaching your drawing. It might be you're saying to yourself, and forgive me because I don't know anything about what you do, but it might be, well, that's, I need a bit of blue here to juxtapose against the purple. And you might be thinking that as you're drawing the purple. And then you might think, well, the composition's not quite right. I need, got to put a tree in over here. So there's a technical voice, even despite your level of concentration on your art. And so we can harness a bit of that technicality and think of the voice as a color palette. And we want to just paint some different colors with your voice, Chris. So that's probably as good as I can give you in a generic way, but I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, that's fabulous, Howard. So thank you very much for helping us out with this. This is brilliant. I know people love it. I've got Phoenix just come on. She's saying, what did I stumble on? What did she stumble onto? So she's clear on it now. She's happy. Everyone's said, really good and stuff. I know Howard's probably going to add to the chat anyway, once he comes off live, but I'm going to put in there where Howard said, are you still up for this? People actually contacting you to ask you questions.
Yeah, probably the best way right now is by email, I think, which is howard@charismacoach.biz. I've got some freebies, as I've mentioned, about the voice. I've got a tech cheat sheet, things like that I'm very happy for people to have. And again, if people have specific questions, sometimes people don't want to ask them in a group setting, which I can understand. Very happy to connect with people here.
Brilliant. So I've put, Chris says, thank you very much, Howard. So you'll see that. I'm sure Howard will jump into the post for this event anyway. And I've just put his details on there. So if people need to get in contact with him, you can. Lovely.
Well, thank you so much, David. And thank you everyone for your time, your attention. I'm very happy it was useful for you. And I look forward to building the connection and building your charisma on camera.
Yeah, I might do a before and after, guys, just to show you the difference, because I think when you don't realize, because there's very small steps you're taking, and then suddenly at the end of it, you're like, wow, and there's certain points where I've just gone, wow, that's amazing. It's like an instant changes on things. And that's the thing. It's like, who would have thought? I wouldn't have thought I needed that. And only when you're presented with stuff do you realize that you actually need things like this. And the effects of it can be amazing on your videos. It can be the difference between you making a sale, marketing. You're not just marketing your brand, you're marketing yourself. People want to see you and invest in you, because like Howard said, people like people. They want to interact with people. So you can have a lovely brand, but if you've got no face and no character behind it, then it can cause big issues. But thank you, Howard. Brilliant. So I'm going to chuck you off the live now so I can get on with critiquing.
Happy critiquing. Take care, everybody.
Cheers, mate.
Bye-bye.
Right, lovely. So that was Howard there. I thought that would be of big interest to you. Well, what I want to do with these Day with Zenlers is get people. So I might be, guys, if you've got anything to offer, you think, oh, look, I know a lot about marketing on Facebook or these kind of things, send me a PM and I'll have a look. There's certain requirements, it shouldn't be self-promotion, those sort of things. It should all be done very lightly for the Zenler environment, you know, but if it offers for the community help, then great. I know Phoenix has got some things, so maybe I can get Phoenix on. She's on the group, so she might have some things as well. So you're gonna notice also with the Day with Zenlers, I'm starting to schedule them. So I'm trying to put time slots in there when people are going to pop up, and this is going to help you as well. So you can see, so you can go, right, okay, well, I can't join right at the beginning. I've got to watch the whole thing. No, I'm going to actually put the timings in there. So I'm going to try and get things more sorted. So we've got timings. I'm also going to give you advanced notices, like make sure that, like, if I'm critiquing sites, that you put your site in there so I can go ahead and critique it. These kind of things are all coming. This is just the ongoing development of making things better for you, streamlining everything, not wasting your time. You don't have to watch all 3 hours. You can come on at 11 o'clock, see the slot you want to see, ask the questions, and then you can go about your business, or you can join us later. So this is how we're trying to do it, trying to work it so it works with you, but it also works with us, and you get a more you know, a bigger view, not just me covering what you can do in the platform and all those things. Of course, you know, we want questions as well. This afternoon, we're going to have some questions. This afternoon, we've got Rakesh on. This afternoon, I'm going to be showing you some tips and tricks to do in Camtasia, adding effects and things. And this was asked by someone on one of the marketing groups, was putting videos together. So I'll show you soft fade-ins on Camtasia, which we're just talking about with Howard. So all good stuff. Right, so I'm going to jump back and have a look at the chat, see if anything's come in here. So Phoenix has already said she'd like to contribute. So I'll be talking to her and find out what's going on. And we're going to carry on with the critique. So I think I was up to, let's have a look. I've lost everything. Here we go. So yeah, I was looking at Carrie's site, which I kind of just finished. So I'm going to be jumping into the next one. Oh, got some things popping up. All right. Let me just finish this one off because I think I kind of covered it really. So this is Carrie's site here, and she's an artist. So I was talking about like maybe changing some of these blocks. You could see how different it looks, like how dynamic it looks when you start to change some of these colors, and maybe the overuse of colors. It's good to use colors that you've got in your palette. She's obviously chosen the black, this kind of copper, and the white in here. But you can still bring in some complementary colors to go along with it. So always do that. You can see this block looks completely different to this block now, just because I've used part of that palette. You notice how I dragged it from the palette there. The rest of it's really good. These are all good images, nice and colorful. Sometimes I like to just boost the saturation in some of the images because it can be a little bit faded. I know that if I saw these paintings, they would be really vibrant. So maybe boost a little bit of the saturation when you're taking the camera, just do a little bit of a boost. This looks like a squirrel that I painted years ago. But I really like artist sites. Right, okay, so let's jump into the next one. So I've got to just go through the snail trail to see where I'm up to. Right, I did have a site. Guys, if you need me to critique your sites, put your site in there. I'm going to just jump. Right, guys, I'm just going to take a little bit of time to get back on track. 2 seconds gives you a chance to, you know, and also if you've got any questions, pop your questions in there. I'm here all day, so I finish in about 40 minutes and then I'll be back at 3. So let me just go to my events in here. All right. Right, I can't find that site. So I had another site to look at, but I can't find it in the snail trail. Snail trail being the chat group. So have you got any, what time are we discussing Camtasia? What time am I discussing Camtasia? I think it's after Rakesh. So I think I'm on about 3:30. So that should be about 3:30. But if you need me to critique any more of your sites, if not, I'll jump into just showing you a little bit of a site I did for a pre-launch. So let me show you that. Okay. Right. So a site I've just, well, I'm still working on. I haven't actually done the course, but it's going to actually be a membership site. So I wanted to turn it into a pre-launch site so that I could start marketing it. And I use this site as the site for marketing course. So I wanted to show you what I've done, because you don't have to have any courses or anything created, or even a membership site or anything when you start off. You know, you can get the site up. You can even get a one-page site up, and you can start promoting it. You know, and then in the background, you can work on everything else. So it doesn't need to hold you up. Now, why might you want to do this? Well, one really, really important thing with your site is you've got your domain name. Yeah, it might be, you might have just bought it. What you want to do is you want to get the site active as soon as possible, because if you take, like, say, a year to do the rest of the stuff, then you still want that site to be listed. You want it to be on Google, picking up on Google, and you want it to be like Google to be looking at it like it's an existing site. It's old. And if you don't have anything on there, or you playing around with it, you can get all these listings come up on all the search engines, and you're not even finished with the site yet. So, like, to have a front page that is just registering and taking people's registrations, a little bit about what you're going to do, doesn't take you long to do, but it means your site is active, and it means you can start promoting it to people. So, for instance, like in daily life, you might go out, such as me, if I'm surfing and I'm talking to someone, and I tell them what I'm up to. I'm doing a website for, or I'm doing a membership site for older generation of surfers. They go, "Oh, that sounds interesting. Where can I go? Can I sign up for that or something?" And I had this the other day. And if you haven't got the site done, you go, no, I'll just, you know, and you're out with your surfboard, you haven't got a phone, you know. So giving them your number and those sort of things is a little bit of a nightmare. But to give them a website address like surfdudes.com, nice and easy to remember, they can go on there and sign up if you've got the site done, or the front page done to take registrations. So in daily life, you can already start to market it. You know, you can wear a t-shirt, Surf Dudes, and people go, "Oh, what's that all about?" You talk to them and they go on the site, sign up. But if you haven't got anything there, you can't sign up for anything. And also that goes for online. You could do a video on your YouTube channel saying, "This is what's coming up. You know, this is what I'm going to be doing. Haven't got it ready yet, but if you want to attend for a pre-launch, go to my website, sign up." Again, if you haven't got a website done, you won't be able to sign up. So you get where I'm going with this. So what I did was I did this. So let's go in here. So this is originally, right, I didn't have any of the menu across the top, because I've turned this into marketing course. I've done a lot of the things and shown people every step of the way. So I didn't have the actual header menu at the top at all. I just had this, and I didn't even have a footer menu. So inside here, all I had was a little bit of information about this. It says join free, access community, course modules, taking you through the process of learning to surf. Really simple, register. So I've got this page set up, gives a little bit of information on all of the blocks that will be in that particular membership site, with feature blocks as well. And then I also have another sign up down the bottom. So even doing something like this is a really simple way of bringing people into your site as leads for potential conversions to sales later. Okay, so with this particular site, I also started to add stuff, because even though I haven't got my membership site done, I haven't got my courses done, I can still add content to the site. It's very clear that we're saying launching soon, so it's pre-launch. We can put a contact in there so people can contact us if they've got any inquiries. we can put a sign up in there, and notice my sign up form or register form. I've taken out the default registration block. You know, inside your register page, go to your site domain /register. You'll probably have the default register block in there. Now, I don't want to leave that into my site because I'm not ready for people to register on the site. I want to purely capture them as leads. So I deleted that block out and I put in the usual block here. So this block, again, will create them as leads. Okay. Now, each of these forms that I've got in here, they tag them as a different user. So in the home page, when they join via this form or this form, and they hit join us, they will go in as leads and they are tagged as pre-launch 1. Okay. And what does that mean? That means when I go into the site and I look at my leads, anyone who's got a tag of pre-launch 1, I automatically know that they've come through my homepage. Now, of course, you could use Facebook Pixel and those sort of things for tracking, but I'm showing you how you could do it in the platform itself. So if they joined up via the register or the sign up form, I have them tagged in as pre-launch 2. And I have a little Google sheet where I say that page pre-launch 2, that page pre-launch 1. So I know exactly where they are. So when I look in the site, I know exactly which pages they joined up for. Now, this becomes even more important if you create things like landing pages, because they're not connected to the site. They're self-contained pages that are purely to get people to come into the platform. And when they sign up, I know if they come up on that landing page, again, pre-launch 3, pre-launch 4, pre-launch 4, pre-launch 5, etc. So you can use this as a way of tracking through here. So if I jump into free stuff, again, no course, no membership, but I'm still creating stuff. Again, I've got beginners softball guide, and I've got, so this is in free stuff, beginner softball guide. What have I done here? I've done funnels. So I've got beginner softball guide, 10 tips to surfing, 10 top mistakes, and join the club, which has got its own pre-launch. Okay. So these are 3 funnels. So if I click this, it's all aimed at getting leads. This is what comes up. So they enter their name, they enter their email address, click this button, it goes, thank you, you're registered. And now the guide or the link to the guide will be sent out via automations to your email address, but they're tagged with pre-launch 6. So I know that that is my beginner softball guide. That's where they've come in on. Now, exactly the same thing applies for the top 10 tips here and there, and the top 10 mistakes. And if you notice, the funnels look pretty much the same. So all I did was spent a bit of time creating my first funnel, making it look good. Spent the time there. Doesn't matter how long you spent your time, you've got it all looking good. You set up the automations for it. I want to create a similar one to follow the same branding. So I clone it. By cloning it, I can swap out the image, change a bit of the text, change the color up here to match this, and it's done. Just check the automation, it goes through to the right PDF to send them, and it's done. It takes minutes. So the first funnel that you create is where you take your time, and of course you test all of these things. Every form in the site has been tested, making sure I'm tagged properly, and all the funnels have been tested as well. I don't just send them out, oh, that's done, send it out. I test everything, okay? But it means I've got control. I know where everybody's come from and how they got into the site. And with these 2 here, top 10 mistakes and top 10 tips, this was inspired by Kevin's blog challenge, where he shows how to create blogs and how to create content from blogs that you've written about, which can be a real time saver. Because imagine you spent a day writing a blog on top 10 tips, top 10 surf tips. And you want to be able to repackage that. You want to be able to repackage that so you can turn it into some sort of freebie to get people coming into your site. So that's exactly what we did. If I jump back to this site here, we go away from the free stuff, we go to news. My news page is actually blogs. So inside here, you're going to find top 10 surf tips. I need to change a bit of this because it's custom CSS in here. But you can see top 10 surf tips, top 10 mistakes. I've got learning surfing. I've got learning surfing parts of the wave, path to surfing the wave, and a beginner's surfing board. So you remember the beginner's surfboard was that one. Okay. The top 10 tips is that one. And then the top mistakes is that one there. Ooh, there. And the guide has been generated from the post. So if I click this post, I've just done a PDF of this. So I've just taken all this, turned it into a PDF, turned it into a freebie, and I can use that in my funnel creation. So really cool stuff to do, quick to do. You'll also notice for every blog post, I also have an accompanying video. I need to change that, but I have an accompanying video to go with it. And I've got nice images rolling through all of these posts as well as we look at them. But this gives you an idea how you can tie everything in together. So you can create a article. It doesn't necessarily have to be a blog article. It could be a page on your website. How you could also create a freebie from that article text that you've written about. How you could then create a video on YouTube, and you could link to the article, and the article could link to a form or a funnel to get people into. So this is how the whole thing works. It's a bit like a spider's web. You know, a spider's web or a spoke on a bicycle. You've got all these things coming out, and then you've got channels in. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get them to go into the center. You're trying to get them to go down the funnel. So you might have a lot of these spiders webs all linked up to each other with one purpose: to get them to be a lead in your site so that you can send emails out to them. So that's it. So have we got any questions on that, guys? Because I can see that Howard's joined in a little bit here. So I've got Howard in there. Phoenix, thank you for sharing a pre-launch site. I learned a few things to do better. Yeah, Phoenix, don't worry, because what I've shown you now, we're going to be actually showing it or doing it all in the marketing course. So the marketing talk course on Sunday is my last part of the course itself, and I'll be opening it up, and then that will be a week, and then I'm going to have an after party for the people that are in the marketing, and then it's going to be opened up. So I'm looking about mid-September. We're going to put that course as an evergreen course on the tutorials.newzenler.com. And it's got bigger than I thought it was. I was going to keep it very short, but it's grown quite a lot based off of questions. And that's why Howard was brought in, because people were asking a lot about camera and production, those kind of things, how to look good on camera. I can give my viewpoint, but you know, I don't profess to be an actor or an expert on presenting and coaching and those things. It's not my thing. I've just learned as I've gone along. So that's why Howard's in there as well. So he gives quite an interesting couple of lives on that. Plus there's loads of other things. We talk about SEO in general, putting stuff on Google search engines, using the search console, doing keyword research. We look at how to write blogs properly, how to set up your YouTube channel, Facebook, checking out where your target audiences are, and where they hang out, and how you should be communicating with them, especially in new groups and things, how you should basically shout about your actual product or thing that you're doing. So we cover a lot of stuff, and this is going to be perfectly timed because mid-September is then when Kevin's bringing out his Google ad campaign. So he's got an expert in who's going to talk about how to set up Google ads properly. Okay. And although in the marketing course, I do cover Facebook ads and Google ads, but it's very basic. I go through it really quick. So you want to attend the Google ads one because it's going to go into a lot more detail for you guys. So it's going to be really good. So that's happening mid-September. And here we go. So let's have a look and see if we've got any questions on the group. So Howard's being bombarded at the moment. Howard, yes, they were. So no questions for me. You're bored with me now. Now Howard's been on. Okay, you're right. So we're 11:36 now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a little break. I'm trying to have quite a few breaks as we go through. So if I sort of having a break every sort of 30, 40 minutes or so, just so I can sort of get my voice back and then carry on. It's going to be easier for me to keep this going for longer periods of time. So I'm going to have a little break now and I will be back. And in the meantime, guys, any questions on Zenler, put them in the post, yeah? Any questions on anything I've shown to date with my site, if you want to see how I've set those tags up or any of those sort of things, put them in there. So I know a lot of people are coming and going to this. So, you know, Howard's still on there, so he's talking as well. So guys, any questions, put them on there. I'm going to just have a little break for about 10 minutes and I'll be back just to wrap up the end of session 1 of A Day with Zenler. I think in the afternoon, Rakesh is going to be here as well. So he'll jump in and help out as well. So it's all good. All right, guys, just swap over now. Okay, see you in about 10 minutes. Okay, guys, I'm back. All right, so we had a question come in from Phoenix asking for a little bit more information on the tags. It's a great, good question, Phoenix. I'm just going to change my background. Back. Okay. So let's do this. Like David Zenler is very chilled, you know. It's like you can turn up, ask the questions, and you know we're going to cover a few key topics as we've done presenting. We're going to do Camtasia. We've got Rakesh on, so it's a very chilled area where you can come in and just post whatever you like and have fun with it, really. So I'm here, so I might be taking breaks, but if you put questions into the chat, then I can get back to them. If there's not many questions, then I'll have more breaks. Simple as that. As long as the things I need to cover are covered, that's all that I care about. So let us go and have a look at tags. So I'm going to jump into my site. As I've shown you the pages before where the tags are, I'm going to show you some of the funnels and the tags in the pages as well, so you can sort of see what's going on. So I'm just going to close off lots of my windows before I share and make sure I'm in the right account. All right. All right, let me share my screen. Have a look at this. Right. All right, okay. So we're here, back again, into the site, and we'll have a look. So, right, this is the site. So let's look at the free stuff, the funnels first, just so you can sort of see. So you've got beginner's surfboard guide 1. So give it to me there. And inside here, this form. And so I want to show you what's happening with this when it actually fires, when someone puts their name and their email into any of the funnels. This is what will happen. So I'm going to jump to my marketing funnels here. And we're going to jump into the softboard guide. It really doesn't matter which one. I've done the same with all of them. I've just changed the tag number so I can see where they've come in. So I'm going to click this one here. And we're going to go straight into automation. So you can see the funnel steps here. We have the steps of the funnel. That's obviously this first one here. And then we have a thank you page. So if I just preview that now, you can see that. So this is it. It just says softball guide. Thank you for signing up. Your free guide will be sent to you via email. So let's go and look where the magic is happening. So if we go into automations now, and I click on here and we go down, you're going to see in here, I've got the access instruction email. So this is the email that fires out to them and actually says, here's the link to your freebie. Okay. And below that, you can see add tag. So there is 2 ways of doing this inside. To add a tag, you could also add a tag in the button. But what I like to do is I like to just have it in my automations. Okay. So we'll look at the tag in the email in a second on the button, which is that button there. We'll look at how I like to do it. So I'm going to just go and edit that tag. And all you're going to see in here is it says tag pre-launch 7. So when someone puts their name in, puts their email in, it will tag them with pre-launch 7 in your people. Okay. I've got people in here, so I'm not going to be showing my people page because I've got people registering. So it shows, because of privacy issues, I can't show that live, and I can't live blur it either. So I can't show you it, but trust me, it tags them with pre-launch 7 as a lead. Okay. So let's have a look at the mail that fires out to them. So here it is here. I've just put my logo in here. So it just means adding an image, add the logo. I've put dear first name because that's what they've put in there. And here is your free softball length guide. And then they click here and they pick up the guide. So the guide, key thing to remember here with any guides or stuff that you're giving out inside any of your automations, you need to make sure that it's downloadable or viewable for everyone. Now, lots of people leave it. They just upload it to the media library and then they don't change it. And what will happen is if people try to download it, it won't let them unless they're registered on the site. Okay, this is a big problem that people have. So I'm going to jump and just show you where that is in here. I'm going to just stop the share just in case anything sensitive comes up. And I'm going to jump to where it is, media library. Okay, there. Okay, let me just reshare. Okay, so here it is. Here's the media library. So you can see I uploaded the surfing softboard guide PDF, and there it is there. So if you go to the share settings, if you're going to do this as freebies, just make sure, because by default it will say logged in users with this link can download. If I left it like that, people wouldn't be able to pick it up when they get to their email unless they're registered or logged into the system itself. So as this is a freebie and I've already captured their name and email, I don't care that they're getting it there because you want them to get it. So I'm going to go anyone with a link download, and then all you need to do is click done, and then that will be open so that they can open it. If you don't do that, they won't be able to open it. They'll send you a mail. It'll look unprofessional. So always check as a student. Yeah. Always sign up, make sure that you can open all of the leads or links that you've put into any of your emails, whether it be email broadcasts or automations. Okay, this is really important. So that's how it's done in there. I just want to show you now how you could do it from funnel steps. So we're going to go into one of our funnel steps, which is this one with the button, and I'm going to click edit in here. So usually in general, there's a few ways to do the same thing. Like most software packages, you have the same way of being able to do the same thing in multiple different places. And and the same is with Zenler. There is normally a few ways that you could do things. So if we go into the button here and we just click settings, you're going to see under settings here, you could add them as a tag here. So I could go and put the button in there, and then it would add pre-launch when they click the button. The reason I don't like to do this is that I want to make sure that the email fires and then it tags them. Okay. So I like to put it all into automations. One, also it's easier to handle because you know that in your automations is all where you set up everything. So it's at one place and you can go and edit or change the tag name and those sort of things. So I don't like to do it from here. You can also do lots of other things inside the button itself. You can see you can add them to a funnel. Well, they're already in the funnel, so I don't want to add them to a funnel. But if you wanted to add them to another funnel, you could. You know, you can see my 3 funnels I've got set up there. And you could also add them to an email list. If you've got an email list, you could add them there as well when they come in. It doesn't really matter because I've tagged them. I can segment them in my list anyway. I don't need an email list specifically for this personally. And the action is submit form. You've also got a post submit action. Now, this is really important. I didn't want it just to end there. I wanted them to go to the thank you page. And so I do go to next step. You can also put a link in there, and then I could grab the link from here and I could paste that in there, and that would do exactly the same thing. So that's how that works. All right. So like I said, I like to tag everybody when they're coming through the automations part itself because it's just easier to handle. There was something else I was going to say, but I've forgotten what it is. But I think you get the hint. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to show you what's happening on some of the other pages. So I'm going to come out the funnels, and we got that there. So these go through to the funnel. So let's just choose this one. So where we've got this form, it's just a form, and it's just going to register them up as a lead, and it's also going to mark them there. So this is just a form. It's not a funnel form. It's just a form on a page. Doesn't matter where it is. So I'm going to jump to my site and to my pages, and we're going to find that form. What is it called? Free stuff. Here. And I'll just edit that, and you'll see that I've just put it straight into the button in this case. Let me close those down. Good. While that's loading, I'm just going to look at any questions. Okay, right. So we scroll down to the bottom. We see here, join the club. So let's have a look at this button. So this is just a form submit button, just to create them as leads. So if I go to settings here, you're going to see action submit form. And then under tag, you're going to see pre-launch. So this particular page, I've just named it as pre-launch. So I know if they come in as pre-launch, they'll be coming from the free cheat sheet page. So that's how I've done it in there. You can also see that I've done a post submit link, and this link goes through to a thank you page. This is something a lot of people don't do. So if you don't do it, it's okay. You get a little green message come up saying success. But I like to actually show people that they have actually got to the right, they've actually submitted it. So I always do a thank you page. And a thank you page will go something like this. You are registered on Surf Dudes. How simple was that? Keep your eyes out for the launch email and special invites. So I use this on any of the internal forms that are on any of the pages. And I suggest that you do set up a thank you page, a generic one that you can always send people to. So on that post submit action, just go post submit action, go to link, and then put the link in there to the thank you page. So my thank you page in this case is down here. So you can see it, there it is there. So I just grab that link. I don't grab the whole link. I just grab it from the end of my domain. So from the // So I grab the // then name of it, and I just put that in there. It's what's called a relative link. Okay. And a relative link means you can use the end part of the domain. So where it ends, like .co.uk, .com, where it ends, it's then / and something else. So if you grab that / and all that, if it's an internal link inside the site, then you can put it in there. So why is a relative link good over an absolute link? Well, an absolute link means that it will go to that link, whatever. So if you change the name of the site or anything like that, all of the links, because the name of the site's changed, will not work. However, if you choose a relative link from that /, copy the /, and then whatever it is, it doesn't matter if you change that first part, because it will always resolve to the end of it, which is /, whatever the name is. So a little bit of tech talk there, but if you understand the principles, that's going to help you. So it's called a relative link, and it's from that /. If you save that, it's going to fire off to that page. So pretty easy stuff. And hopefully that sort of makes it a bit easier for you to sort of understand how these kind of tags go on inside there. So we're coming up now. I think it's 1 minute till 12 o'clock. So we finished this session of A Day with Zenler. So we've had some exciting stuff today. We've talked about new people joining the site. Alice Miriam joining the site as a product educator. We've had Howard on. I've gone critiquing quite a few of your sites, and we just covered a bit of tags and how you might set your site up even before you have a course or a membership. So heading into session 2, which begins at 3 o'clock, we're going to be looking at Camtasia, and I'm going to be showing you techniques how I created a video for this Surf Dude site. I was asked, because someone liked it, how do you do that? What did you do it with? And I said Camtasia, and they were kind of a bit shocked that I just used Camtasia to do it. So I'm going to show you how I did that. I'm going to quickly just show you the page now, so you can see what we're kind of looking at. And this should open your eye up to quite a few things, because I'm going to be taking live video, pulling a still out, stretching the still frame, so you're basically just one image, and then changing things. And I'm going to be showing you how to do soft fades. Hopefully there'll be a lot of questions coming, and I can show you on the fly as well, which is what I am good at. So I just want to check if this is the one. Yeah, so this is the, I'm just going to pause this so you can just see the video, and I'm going to share my screen in a second, and you'll see what I mean when I just pause it here. Okay. So this is going to be looking at in Camtasia in part 2 or session 2. So I'm sharing my screen now. So I'm going to have this kind of thing. So I'm talking here, but obviously I've muted it. So you're going to have this where you're talking about something, then explaining it, and then I kind of fade out, and then the next question comes up, but I ask myself, and then I pop up in that box. So where I'm talking about it there, this is a bit long-winded, this one, obviously. Is what is Surf Dude, so I'm talking about it all. But when I finish talking about it all, it's then going to fade down. So let's just move a bit quicker with this. And come on, finish talking. There we go. So there I fade down. Next question. What's so good about Surf Dudes? Then I fade down and I come back up. So this is all done in Camtasia, just using a green screen behind me and setting a grid of squares up, and then using some tricks inside Camtasia to do this. So I'm going to be showing you how this is done in session 2. And any questions, you know, remember, you all can ask whenever you like. I'm live. This is interactive, and we can have fun with it. So I'll see you guys in session 2. That's 3 o'clock. That's in 3 hours time. And we'll carry on with part 2 of A Day with Zenler. And remember, part 2, we've got Rakesh as well. Rakesh is coming in to do a little bit of a talk. So I'll see you soon. So guys, I'm going to finish off now, and I will see you later. And thank you, Carrie, for thanking us, and all of you guys for turning up and asking brilliant questions. See you in session 2.